they're not going to do anything with it. And if they do, they suffer unbelievable consequences.
And the president just shook the hand of Qatar's emir sitting next to him for helping work out the deal with Iran.
They were tough. They were strong. They are the closest to Iran physically.
We're still waiting more details of the agreement. The president says we'll have the Strait of Hormuz open fully by Friday with Iran not blocking shipping anymore. Another big issue at the G7 summit of world leaders, Russia's war in Ukraine.
It's been 4 years of war now. The president, though, going into this meeting, seemed very optimistic about bringing this war to an end. He said that maybe we can do something. So perhaps that is the momentum he's feeling from the Iran deal. But he seemed optimistic going into this meeting.
That's Fox's Aisha Hasni in Geneva. Now, Iran's soccer team came to the U.S., played their first World Cup soccer match last night, but they didn't stick around.
The Iranian squad expected to spend the night in Los Angeles after their 2-2 draw with New Zealand. But coach Amir Galinoui says officials told them to return to their training base in Mexico. Several key staff members weren't even allowed to attend the game. The coach is unhappy about players not getting recovery time before the journey.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. What went wrong is a big question in California after a B-52 bomber crashed and burned right after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base, killing all 8 people on board.
This was a mixed crew. This was a mixed crew of military, government civilians, and government contractors supporting this test mission.
Deputy Commander Colonel James Hayes says it could take months to determine the cause of the plane's crash. America's listening to Fox News.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los here on Run Off Tuesday in the state of Georgia. Hope you are well. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3. Across the social media platforms, good morning, Los.
And I will start by saying all of your polling places, especially county-wide, now open up.
Yep.
Most counties will have 1 or 2 during early voting.
That's right.
Now all of them are opening. So let's make it a point, people. Get on out there and vote.
You have to. You have
Find
to.
some time. It'll take you a couple minutes.
Oh, my gosh. And even if it doesn't, even if it takes you longer than that, it's worth it. It's cost so important. It's what separates you from the rest of the world.
I drove by 3 on the way here.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I would have been. I guess I went by 1, probably the elementary school. Yeah.
The first one was about 1.5 miles from my neighborhood if you exit and head to the right. The other one, which I didn't pass, was 1.5 miles the other way.
Yeah. So there's plenty.
There's plenty.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
That's for sure. So,
and don't you just want that sticker?
You know,
now, they weren't doing it when I went to early vote.
Really? Boy, they did downtown Alpharetta.
At least I wasn't trying to chase it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have a big old table right after you do your little Scantron, you know, when you're like, oh, this is my vote, I think.
I saw it tabulate in the voting machine. I went, well, I guess that happened.
Yeah, and then they had a big table. You know, because it's funny, I can't remember who I was talking about this with, but you get the little thing and it tells you now that you voted and whatever, and they're like, well, you know what? They should be able to populate a website so you can go and just see your ballot. And I was like, you think that's going to make me feel better about it? The fact that I could see something, it doesn't matter. Do I know that's what went through and what was... I mean, I don't know.
I just know the number in the machine flipped from 957 to 958, and I said, "That's me, 958."
That could be attached to the vending machine, and when
So
when
it
some
drops out.
donuts drop down, there's something else that clicks through.
Somebody got an extra Powerade.
Yeah, it's exactly
Good
right.
for you.
Yeah, it just who knows what.
But
it means.
no, go out and vote.
Yes, I kid somewhat about all this. You know, definitely you have to make it too big to rig, man. Just like Tim Burchett said when he came on. But what was it? 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he was. You just got to make it. You got to overwhelm it. That way, there's no doubt. And I do believe that Georgia, at least, is better than California.
Well, we have some fascinating angles to what's playing here, and late news in the governor's race in the last 24 hours of endorsements and semi-endorsements and giving some extra love.
Yeah.
And we're even going to be the beneficiary of that a little bit later today, as somebody who I've really enjoyed their career, Ted Cruz, is going to be joining, who he recently endorsed Rick Jackson. Mm-hmm. You went to the event yesterday for a little while.
Yeah, it was great. They got there. Ted Cruz is such a good speaker. He commands the room. It's impressive what he's capable of doing. Now, there's a difference in Ted Cruz campaigning, I'm leading you to an answer, and Ted Cruz, the really, really smart dude that you hear maybe on his podcast or when he's on, a news outlet, and what you'll hear today around 8:25. But yesterday, it was very much command the room, leading people to say, oh, this is the obvious decision. Do you want this or do you want that?
He's hypnotizing the entire room
dude,
with Ted Cruz power.
That's right. It was like he was holding the watch. Everyone's like, vote Rick Jackson.
You got it, Ted.
It was great. No, I kid about that part. But he just knows and understands what he's doing in that moment. Like, he understands how to get people fired up, what he's trying to engage people on. Yeah, so I look forward to talking to him about that and his decision. Like, he went through it there. He talks about him being a principled conservative. He talks about him being a Christian man and a good man. And I believe all of those things about Rick Jackson. So it's not a surprise that somebody like Ted Cruz would endorse him. But I just don't know. It kind of came out of left field a little bit.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we talked about Brian Kemp and his endorsement when it came down to Burt Jones.
Way left field.
Mark Ricks came out of nowhere.
Saw that this morning.
Talking about the leadership of Burt Jones, of being a walk-on at Georgia and rising up to team captain. And then, again, you can go to the other side. When Don Jr. starts talking about what Rick Jackson was doing as far as trying to help the medical industry to make sure that it wasn't just being dominated by China in the interest of what the Trump administration wants to do with making sure that more of our medications are actually made here and available here. There's a lot. It's just a lot to think about if you're going to the polls and saying, I know who the guy is, well, good for you. I get all this stuff is coming down because I'm sure there's still people that are going, I'm going to figure it out when I get there.
It's razor thin, and I don't believe either candidate is. I think both candidates are great is the best way to say it. I don't think Georgia can lose, and that's exactly the message of Don Jr. It was about 3:05. I had started prepping at 3:05, this pops up in my feed. I'm going to read it to you just so if you've not seen the Don Jr. thing. And he came back and clarified, hey, this is not an endorsement, and I get it, and I understand why he did it. But regardless of what happens in Georgia in the governor's race, we should celebrate the patriots building up the MAGA and America First economy like Rick Jackson. When China threatened our amoxicillin supply, Rick saved the last amoxicillin manufacturing facility in America because he knows we can't let China control the entire supply of antibiotics. When we faced an oil refining shortage and woke banks wouldn't finance a new one, Rick stepped in and became the largest outside investor. This has been a hard-fought race with a lot of mudslinging, but I know Rick Jackson is a good man, and that counts for a lot. Then, shortly after, by the way, it's not an endorsement. I think Burt Jones is a great guy, too. My only point is, no matter who wins tomorrow, it's a great victory for the Make America Great Again movement. Dude, that is hedging your bets. When I saw that is hedging your bets and knowing that either candidate could win.
Well, let's look. I always talk about big picture because let's get out of the emotional feel or who my guy is. We have spent enough time with each one of these candidates that I can tell you that there is not one issue where I would say that makes that person radioactive to somebody who might want to vote for the other person.
Of course not.
And so I think a lot of this is because of the importance of the state of Georgia, and this is a compliment to everyone out there. It is so important to the administration and to America as a whole that you want a scenario in which case whoever comes out of this, the Republicans can fall right in line with the other person.
And it's impossible for that not to happen in this race, in my opinion.
There's not a tremendous amount of, despite the amount of money that's been spent, I think both of them are quality leaders. I think both of them are very interesting people.
I think so too.
And,
I like both of them.
so whatever your reasoning, I'm like valid. And whatever your reason to not vote for somebody, I'm like valid.
Yeah.
I can wade into either water with you.
I can dig both. That's exactly right. Me and my wife had this discussion yesterday, and she was like, "What do you think about the Ted Cruz thing?" And I said, "Well, I think Ted's well respected. I think it's someone that brings national attention to Rick's campaign." She was like, "Yeah, but there's some things that Ted Cruz says that I don't like, and then others that the other times that I really like." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's politics."
There it is.
It was like, find me one person that you agree with 100% of the time, and you've brought that up, and we've talked about it. Just doesn't exist. And the light bulb went off when we were having that discussion. You could just see it. She was like, "You know what? You're right. I get it. Okay."
This is not meant to be an insult. When I say I'm not a child, I'm not saying that you are a child. I'm not trying to sit on the fence here. What I'm pointing out is that if you're trying to get 100% of the things you want 100% of the time, then you better run for office.
Well, yeah, because you're the only one
who's going to be able to take care of that.
Can't deliver it.
That's the only way it's going to happen.
Right.
You will have your leadership, your people that are representing you, do things that you don't care for. I even bring up when we start talking about the Dolezal race. We've had Greg Dolezal in here, and we've had John F. Kennedy in here, and both of them have pointed out we have very similar ways that we look at everything. We just go about it differently.
That's right.
So what are you basing it on?
Yeah.
And in some cases, I've pointed out it's likability. Yeah. Now, I've had Greg Dolezal as a state Senate representative for me out of my county for quite a while. I like the way that he's gone after some of the corruption. I like the way he's put himself out front with going after Fonnie Willis and everything else. Yeah. That is my deciding factor.
Yeah.
But it's not because I look at John F. Kennedy and go, I don't care for that guy. I'm like, if you win, I'm going to vote for you.
Yeah, and won't have a problem.
It won't have a problem with it.
Pulling the lever. I used the example with my wife last night. I was like, who do you love more than anybody in the world? And she was like, you. And I was like, okay, do we agree on 100% of the things? And the answer is no. I was like, let's go. Your son. Let's talk about. You love him more than anything else on this earth. Does every decision he makes make you go, yep, that's right? No, of course you question everything.
I just wanted to watch a show last night for the last few minutes before I went to bed. And my wife kind of gave me well, do you like this? And I was like, well, I like Nick Cage. And she goes, he just seems too old to be playing this. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. You're going after Nick Cage?
How could you?
That's not nice of you.
Seriously.
Was it National Treasure?
No.
Which one was it?
I got a little bit into Spider Noir on Amazon.
I don't know that one.
That's okay. You're not a comic book guy.
Well, okay, yeah.
You're not into any of that
no,
stuff.
I know.
And besides, I really like the whole 1930s vibe and Nick Cage talking like, you see that? You see?
Oh, he talks like that?
There's parts where he's doing that. It's campy, but it's fun, and it's turn your brain off. And I like Spider-Man stuff anyway. It's always was my favorite as far as the cartoons. And so, but my wife, zero interest.
Okay.
None. I was like, yeah, that's fine. We've been married for 20 years. I'm not checking boxes going, well, that's divorce.
Yeah, the purity test.
Right.
That just doesn't exist.
She's not going to pass it 100% of the time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So that was the discussions at our house last night.
But she also doesn't have a Nazi tattoo or
there is that.
Communist nature.
No,
some of these purity tests are valid.
But I don't even know if that would be I mean, goodness, that's just a common sense test. That's just like, hey, are you smart enough to know which way's up?
How did that work for Maine?
Exactly.
That's not a disqualifier anymore, though.
Yeah, well, look.
That's my point. Yes.
Absolutely right.
How did that work for Maine?
Dude, it's unreal. It's unreal. It's so freaking
It's
crazy.
weird. The guy I voted for showed up in a Klan hood, but I got to defeat the Democrats.
Right. You know?
Or maybe I don't.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that we can point out in the state of Georgia, and this has been different than what we've seen, when it was the Herschel Walker, when he was having his campaign and it was tied in with Brian Kemp, we had a large disparity of people that voted for Brian Kemp, but who would not vote for Herschel Walker. And that's what it turned into with Raphael Warnock, where they made it a personality test. And you had so many Republicans that were like, I can vote for this one, but I don't want to vote for this one. If this was Maine, they wouldn't care.
No, they would not.
At least you still have enough morals to go, well, okay,
Yeah, right.
you made your point.
Yeah. Goodness. Just the things that I never in a million years thought I'd hear. You know, he has a Nazi tattoo, but that seat's important. What?
It's just PTSD why he's been allegedly abusive towards women.
Yeah, right, and twisting their arms and things.
So, yeah, we don't have those problems here. Instead, we're arguing
that's right.
in the margins of what we believe these candidates are going to do. And so this for me today is far more exciting than what we had a month ago. This is going to be watch this and see how it plays.
This is the day that actually something actually occurs.
Kind of felt like, I don't know, inside baseball. Kind of feels like something I said a month ago or 2 months ago when management was like, we should do a special show. I was like, how about we do one when we get to the runoffs?
That's right.
Instead, my happy ass is going to be at home watching this stuff. I'm covering this.
Yeah, right.
I'm doing it on my own.
But we'll cover it the next morning here on Xtra, and I'm going to invite everybody on the show afterwards. Win, lose, draw. Don't know who will accept. Don't know who won't. But I think it'll be maybe even revealing. You know who went, depending on how the night goes. You know, you just learn things as things develop about what's happening. And so I'm going to invite everybody on. We'll see who takes us up. Maybe nobody. I mean, it could be they'll be like, no, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, they might want to take the victory lap, or they might want to take the 24 hours because, and we'll talk about a little bit more about this in the show later. The next angle to this is that once you get through the primary process, which is largely funded by the candidate of what they can raise, now they're looking to help from the RNC and DNC, depending on their side. And that is where the money factor, I think, becomes huge to analyze because of what's going on the DNC, their inability to raise money right now, the fact that they've taken out a $3 million loan in order to make sure they can run some of these races. What does that look like versus what the RNC is going to help out? And so I'll be reaching out to a couple of my contacts over there to be like, all right, now that we're through this, like we want to have just a cavalcade of people as we're now looking into November.
It's going to be a fun day. It'll be an exciting day. It is a day that I believe you should be proud of. You should be proud to participate in. And get out there. Make sure you vote.
Predictions?
Gosh, man.
I'm not in the prediction business for this thing. This is way too tight on a number of fronts.
I just don't know that you can choose. Because it's razor thin. There's a reason these endorsements are coming out when they do. And the fact that, we talked about it yesterday, 85% of the people voting will vote today. There's a reason these endorsements and semi-endorsements have dropped.
Well, again, the betting markets favor particular candidates. But one of the issues that you have with the betting markets, and this is where I think it's a factor, we've brought this up before, when you're going to have, it's like imagine playing a baseball game and you're trying to say, well, who do you think is going to win? And they're, okay, we're going to bet on 27 outs. What happens if you only play 18 outs? Okay, that changes the scale of the game. Right now, it looks like there's going to be about 700,000 Georgians who are taking part in this election, whereas 900,000 took part in the last one that was just a month ago. So you're changing the scale of the game right here.
Yep. And it's impossible. It's just impossible to know. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have any idea how this is going to
Remember, we're trying to see who gets, it was 50 plus one originally. Now it's like, all right, what's your plurality? Can you drive? It's really, can you get your people out?
That's right. Yeah. So if you favor a particular candidate, you better get out and vote for him. It is imperative. Today's go day, buddy. There's no tomorrow. Get it done. Win or go home. 6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. The best part of World Cup is not even on the field. Next on Xtra.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Xtra 1063 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Xtra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Xtra 1063 app now and start streaming.
Your life isn't one size fits all. So why would your bank be? At Truist, you get a caring and knowledgeable team that really understands you. You get real talk about real life, tools that help keep you informed, and a plan that keeps you ready so you're confident no matter what comes your way. And when all that comes together, it makes you feel unstoppable. Get started today at Truist.com. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turfco. We're a family-owned and operated independent local company here in the Atlanta area. We've been in business for over 15 years. We install several different types of artificial grass. One is landscape, which looks like real grass for your lawn. The next one is pet turf. Pet turf is a little bit shorter than landscape, and it's more durable. And the other one is putting greens. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
When it comes to luxury, performance, and cutting-edge technology, few brands do it better than Cadillac.
And there's no better place to experience Cadillac than Jim Ellis Cadillac, where buying a luxury vehicle is just as refined as the vehicle itself.
From the bold Escalade to the sleek XT5, the powerful CT5, and the electrifying new Lyriq, you'll find an impressive selection ready to go.
That means more choices, more availability, and competitive pricing, all with the transparent, no-pressure approach Jim Ellis is known for.
And with the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start your purchase online. Value your trade, schedule a test drive, even complete paperwork from home.
It's luxury car buying made simple and convenient on your terms. Or shop in person and enjoy a professional, welcoming dealership experience that puts you first.
To get started, visit JimEllisCadillac.com or stop by the Jim Ellis Cadillac dealership on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, Trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday.
And here's President Trump, also endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader, This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win. Burt Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Burt Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, June 16th, and here are your headlines. A group of San Francisco Giants pitchers are drawing attention after writing Bible verses references on their hats during the team's Pride Night. Pitcher Landon Roop said the message represented his Christian faith in God's covenant. Major League Baseball has since warned the players that writing on hats violates league rules, though the league did not announce any further discipline. Atlanta hosts its first ever World Cup match yesterday as Spain took on Cabo Verde at a sold-out Mercedes-Benz stadium that ended in a 0-0 draw. Economists estimated that the tournament could generate more than $500 million in economic impact for the city, fueled by spending from out-of-state and international visitors. Officials say the event could also help attract future business investments to Metro Atlanta. And finally, the Atlanta Preservation Center is raising concerns over plans to move the Olympic Cauldron from its longtime home in Summerhill to Centennial Olympic Park. Preservation advocates argue the landmark is important to the neighborhood's identity dating back to the 1996 Olympic Games. Georgia State University says the move is intended to better celebrate Atlanta's Olympic legacy, while the tower structure and Olympic rings bridge will remain in Summerhill. Today we'll see the wet weather will return with a high of 73 and a low of 67. Here's your 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10. I keep seeing this picture pop up, and it is part of the canopy there in front of the White House with the flyover on top of it, and it says, "It doesn't get more American than this. Take note to those who oppose it." And it's such a good point. Who could look at that and go, "Yeah, I don't want a part of that. That doesn't represent me at all."
I believe let's see. Let me do the numbers correctly. 71% of Democrats.
Yeah,
because that was the polling over the weekend. Are you proud of your country?
Are you proud to be an American?
90%.
Fascists bound to lose.
That's right. They're busy singing.
Hey there, all you fascists.
90% of our side said they were. 29% of Democrats said they were.
So 29% of people. Yeah, it's no matter what they say on the news, no matter what I see on social media, there's never going to be a moment I'll see that and not be proud of it, because it's amazing and it brings people together. I've never been a UFC guy. I'm not against it. It's just whatever. It's fine. But when I see something like that and people are celebrating, they're having fun, that's what America is, dude. There's nothing more American than that.
There may be not a more outwardly patriotic sport in America than the UFC.
Which I appreciate to no end.
And in part, and this is, I think, what's so fun about it, and we're seeing this echoed with the World Cup, there are people who come to this country from all over the world who are just looking for an opportunity, in this case, a fight, and to build up within that program and to go through it and to use meritocracy to continue to rise and build themselves wealth and an opportunity. And that's what it provides. And so, yeah, is like the PGA Tour and college football very patriotic? Sure. It's different when it's in the UFC. They tell you every single, it's in your face.
Yeah.
And last night was a perfect example of it is in your face as much as possible.
And I appreciate it more than I ever have before just because of it.
You should check it out.
It's amazing.
One of the incredible things, Tug, is when you see a fighter who will come from, let's say, Brazil or South Korea and talk about what America has meant to them.
And actually see it. And actually experience it. For not just in Orlando or Vegas or Atlanta, but in Washington, D.C. There's nothing more... The White House as the backdrop, there's nothing more American or patriotic than that. So for those guys to be able to do that, I can only imagine. How they felt about it. We're seeing fans. I mean, look the Freddie dude. That's from Germany.
There's a German fan who's been touring the country. He was going to the Houston matches, and everywhere he goes, you have Americans trying to get him new experiences.
Buc-ee's, Waffle House. His soundtrack was Ella Langley, who was here at Braves Country Fest on
She got him
Saturday.
tickets, I think.
She did?
I think she
For
reached
Country
out.
Fest?
I'm not sure if it was for Country Fest.
But
but
for
it was
a show. But
Yeah.
for a show. Got it. Of course, because she's amazing. And let me tell you, she's another that loves America.
He and his buddies got put up by J.J. Watt in Houston.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like, just the experience, and you're seeing it play out on social media, and everybody is so captivated by it.
So this is what has been my favorite part of the World Cup so far. Because the matches are great. Like I watched Morocco and Brazil. Like I've watched a lot of different matches.
Germany and Curacao.
Okay.
Germany whooped tail 7-1, and I was pulling for the little Curaçaos because I've been there.
But at 1-1, you're like, oh.
Yeah, no, it was a game.
This is interesting. Little Curacao. And then the mighty Germans went, that's about enough of that.
Yes.
It's like, we're going to make this 4-1 before we know it and go from
that's
there.
right, and it was.
But again, fun matches and fun crowds. I think what I have really enjoyed is social media has broken regular media. The amount of foreigners that are in this country and that are talking about, first off, they're like store shelves that are filled. Options. Buc-ee's blows the mind of every single...
The European mind cannot comprehend.
I was there Saturday. I was making my way over to Huntsville, Alabama. We were going to stay there before we moved on to go to North Alabama for a camp on Sunday. And we went out a little bit out of our way to go to Calhoun to go to Buc-ee's. First off, it's the most packed I'd ever seen Buc-ee's in my entire life.
It is impossible to get
It was
in that.
impossibly packed. It was insanely
And they
packed.
have like 700 gas pumps, and they're still full.
And it was crazy. Even my daughter was like, man, we've been to Buc-ee's a lot. Like, it's never been like this.
Because of the, and I'm sure it's because of the World Cup crowd.
The Europeans that have been running around this country and talking about it and pointing out, it's like, we've been lied to. It's like we're told that this is like the worst place. I saw another person. They were talking about they were shocked. And it was a British lady. She was talking about she's driven 12 hours. She's like, I started in South Texas. I've driven 12 hours. I'm still in Texas. She's like, in the UK? She's like,
you'd be 6 countries over.
We're crossing. Yeah, it's like this is what it is. I saw a South African man who, of all things, he was shocked by this. He had left his hotel room. He had walked down the street to go to a service station. He's in front of like a kangaroo or a Sitco or something along those lines. And he's raving about how it's well lit. It's totally clean. He goes, and I don't have to worry about being jumped. He started pointing out trucks passing by. He goes, in South Africa,
They get...
they'll get jacked if they're driving that slow.
We have that audio. Listen to this.
Okay, cool. It is 12 o'clock at night. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Nothing. No one. I mean, completely spotless. Clean. I just took a walk all the way down there. Midnight. It's freaking midnight. And I'm completely safe. And I'm a white person walking around. That's so cool. Look at that. Those trucks. Nobody's trying to rob them. No one's looting them and smashing the back of them and stealing stuff. If a truck drives that slow in South Africa, they literally will break open the back and loot it. I mean, it is awesome. And here's me, a white guy, walking around at a gas station.
And you know that because of the craziness that's happening to those farmers in South Africa, so he doesn't feel safe typically walking around.
This is the argument about the fall of Western society, namely in Europe, and what we're looking to prevent here. These people have gotten used to living in such strange conditions that when they're exposed to what the American experience is, you have a South African who's like, I can walk outside to a gas station.
Unreal.
You've had other Europeans that have talked about how, seriously, I walk into a store and y'all have everything. There was a funny video I saw, and there's no audio to go along with it because it's just their faces. But it was 2 Italians, and they were in one of our supermarkets. But it was focusing on all the frozen Italian food we make, and they were like shocked. They were like, oh God,
this has got to be terrible.
No. But at the same time, they're like, y'all have so much of this stuff, you just freeze it.
Yeah, yeah, unreal, right?
You just throw it in the microwave or throw it in the oven, and it's good to go.
Yeah. I mean, they, in the back of their head, like, there's no way it tastes good, but I love the fact that it's available.
And these are people that, and the numbers change depending on what European nation. 60 to 80% of the homes don't even have AC.
Yeah.
They're sitting in our hotels like, why does everything have AC? I'm like, because that's how we live, baby.
We do it a little differently than y'all.
Unimagined wealth. The difference in being poor in the United States versus being poor in countries around the world, including European countries, It's unmatched.
I'll keep this story quick because I've told it before. When I was in the Navy, and we couldn't, because we were a nuclear ship in certain countries, they wouldn't allow us, but they were scared of nuclear power or whatever the silly reason was. They wouldn't let us pull into port, so we would anchor out. And at that point, we would have to get the garbage off of the ship. They would have little boats with 2 people pull up, usually a flat bottom John boat, something like that, and we would just take over the lowest point of the ship. We'd drop the garbage in, and they would take it off. Before the garbage could hit the boat bottom, they were already tearing into it to find something, anything. When Los talks about there's nobody in America, wherever you are on the economic scale, you could be at the very bottom and you're not digging through trash. It's a different way of living that most people have never experienced.
I want to play this British woman, and she had a really great post. And this is why I talk about Tuesday. Go vote. It's a small price to pay to take part in a system in the interest of protecting our freedoms, our ideals, our liberties. Because I lived through 2020. I know what that's like to be removed. I know what it's like when somebody would refer to you as essential or not, or tell you you could go to work or you couldn't. It's like that. We were on the precipice of this country.
That's what it looks like, man.
Falling from being a representative republic, not a democracy, a representative republic, to authoritarianism.
That's what it looks like.
And so that's why you go vote, to avoid this stuff. Take a listen to this British woman as she's now taken the tour. She's now said, whoa, hold on a second. Your country's pretty awesome.
I was well and truly born in the wrong country. I'm a British girl and I have been to around 27 different countries in my whole life. I've been to the Caribbean, I've been to St. Lucia, I've been to Barbados, I've been to Southeast Asia, Thailand, Bali, places in Europe. I've been all over the world basically. And nothing comes close to the USA. You can get every single landscape, every single climate, you can get everything in the US. The people, the food, the landscapes, the cars, the trucks, everything in the US simply beats anything I've ever experienced anywhere in the world. I was born in the wrong country. I feel like I belong in the US. My heart is there. I mean, we found a puppy in the US. We rescued a puppy in the US and brought her home to the UK. There are no words to describe how lucky you guys are to live there. Americans are so lucky to live in such an amazing country. And I wish I was there, guys, honestly.
Dude, these people have been lied to about us for a long time, and our media has lied to us as well.
The people that disparage America, the people that tell you it's awful, they're lying to you every day. If you don't see it, all you have to do is open your eyes. First of all, just be grateful. How about just being grateful for something? Instead of always complaining, instead of telling me how bad everything is, how about you just look around and be grateful? Because you should. She's seen different. I've seen different. The kid from Germany, Freddie's seen different. We've all seen different. And secretly, deep down inside, those leftists who want to destroy America, they know it's a great place too. They hate it for being a great place. They want to destroy it because it's great. That's the reason they're so dedicated to it.
But this is why, when we have our problems in this country, it's oftentimes because of the amount of wealth and the amount of ability to create wealth in this country. Oftentimes you will have politicians that look at it as, well, I got keys to the bank now. I got keys to the piggy bank, and this is what I'm going to do with it. Do we have our problems? Yeah.
Of course.
That's always how it's going to be.
Nothing's perfect.
You're always going to have that. But when it comes to the average, everyday Joe, and a lot of these Europeans, listen, they have to have money in order to come here and go to World Cup. It's what it is. Even they are going, man, we ain't got money like you guys do. Like, this is pretty impressive what you're able to do and the freedoms that you have in this country. And again, this is not, it doesn't hit the same way. The amount of options that we have in this country, that's part of what's blowing their mind. The people that were wandering through Buc-ee's where they took the videos, they're like, How many sandwiches do you have here?
That's right. And they make them. They're just continually making them.
How do you do this?
American exceptionalism. That's how. That's how we do it. Is America better? Yes, it is. I've been all over this world. America is better than all of them. And as long as we get out and vote, to your point, as long as we take care of this republic, it'll always be better. Is it imperfect? Yes. Is it striving every day to be more perfect? Yes. The answer is also yes. There's no Alabama song. Has nothing to do with America, but the title is perfect. Close enough to perfect for me. That's what America is.
What I would love to see, and as these elections will evolve and the cities are going to continue to be blue, what I was hoping is that at some point you're going to have some sanity that returns to modern Democrats, liberals, where they will stop pushing the far left, the 15%. And the reason why is this. You're never going to have your cities back in an operational standpoint where you can be proud of them. When I was and I'm going back on Thursday, going back to Minneapolis, and to see the craziness of what had gone on there and what had continued to go on there. Like, the only way that ever changes is with sane Democrat leadership. I'm not even telling you, like, hey, we should put the Republicans involved.
Yeah. Because you're never getting that.
What I'm looking for is, where are the Democrats that love this country the way we do? Because as of the polling, it's 29% of y'all. Where are you? And why are you not seeking leadership positions?
Tug and Los until 10, 6 o'clock hour, brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, yes, it's a high school football field. Yes, it's exactly what you're looking at. The European mind cannot comprehend the greatness of America. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, June 16th. The Atlanta Braves are back at Truist Park to open up a homestand that begins with a visit from the San Francisco Giants. A 3-game series begins this evening. It'll be Grant Holmes on the mound. He'll be opposed by Adrian Hauser. First pitch is set for 7:15 tonight. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. On the injury front, catcher Drake Baldwin returns to the lineup tonight. He's missed several weeks with an oblique strain. As for starting pitcher Spencer Strider, he's been shut down for a month in order to deal with elbow and shoulder soreness. From college football, the Brendan Sorsby issue has been settled. He plans to enter into the NFL supplemental draft. Sorsby was originally ruled ineligible by the NCAA for betting on his own games. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered CPAPs, etc.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. CPAPsETC.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy, and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
You know what you get back when you call the Trusted Toolbox? You get your time back, you get your family back, and you get your house back. No more spending weekends fixing loose doors, drywall cracks, or that list that never ends. With our handyman for a day, one skilled professional shows up, knocks out multiple repairs in one visit. Everything from drywall to ceiling fans changed out, painting, trim work, and so much more. Stop working on your house every weekend. Call the Trusted Toolbox, get your time back, and get it done right the first time. Book your appointment today at thetrustedtoolbox.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could self-fund.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor Inc.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? If you've spent the last 20 years or so building a life in your home, raising a family, and hosting holidays, making memories, maybe it's time to think about the next 20. That's why you can trust Jeff Shea, like I do, at Peach State Windows more than 50 years. Jeff has helped Georgia homeowners improve comfort, efficiency, and value while preserving the character of your home. Many homes across Marietta, East Cobb, Roswell, surrounding areas built to last. They just need the right upgrades to keep performing for decades to come. How about this right now? 8 double-hung vinyl replacement windows installed for just $39.95, or boost curb appeal with a fiberglass French entry door installed for just $69.85. Both options improve energy efficiency, security, and overall appearance, and include a lifetime warranty plus 0% financing for 12 months. PeachStateWindows.com, 770-485-8011. Peach State Windows, helping Georgia homes get ready for the next 20 years.
Georgia politicians, if you want to win your election, the path to victory runs through Xtra 1063. Xtra listeners are some of the most engaged, active in their communities, and outspoken on their beliefs, especially when it comes time to vote. Tell the candidate you're voting for that if they want to win, the path to victory runs through Xtra 1063 FM. Just email sales@extra1063.com to get involved. That's sales@xtra1063.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 1063. Download the app so you listen live and on demand. We've been talking about the World Cup because it's the biggest. It's like the Super Bowl every day.
It's been great, and it will be great for the next month around here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
By the way, did you see the results from yesterday? So in the downtown area, you have Cape Verde. It's their first World Cup. They're playing Spain. And Spain, you'll get Bryce nodding. Okay, they're a European champion. Like, they are one of the favorites. Spain is a monster. So you're drawing in your first World Cup, Spain. And I believe the shots on goal, help me out if this is true, Bryce. I think it was 27-4. Okay, it was insane. And Cape Verde earned a 0-0 draw over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to now Atlanta Stadium for this thing.
But it's just so it's even in Google that way. Have you seen that?
Yes. Those people went downtown and partied their arses off.
Good for them.
Chances were it was shots 27-6, shots on target 7-1, which in soccer is a very wide margin.
That is like guaranteed.
Possession was 74% for Spain, 25% for Cape Verde.
They were dominated, yet earned 0-0. And so the Cape Verde people were down in downtown Atlanta partying yesterday.
Kane.
And of course, they probably were met with a lot of other Southern hospitality, as everyone has gotten as we've gotten to play this. One of my favorite things last night was I was trying to explain to my wife, and I had to, pull up, X. and we started going through all the Europeans because, as they travel from one place to another, they are experiencing what we take for granted. The Buc-ee's. Well, a bunch of them were drunk Waffle House visits.
Never have happened to me before, ever.
And let me tell you, the Europeans right now, the people from around the world are like, oh my God, they serve you 24 hours and there's nothing better. Like they're looking at this like sandwich, like Texas, melt. They're like, oh my God. They're like, and they keep bringing all of this. There was a guy who kept throwing different stuff on waffle and just sticking it in his mouth. He's like, oh my God, this is the greatest. It's the greatest thing ever. Well, we have a video. Now, this guy got out to North Oconee, and this is a Brit, and hopefully you can make it all out if we have to clarify some of this for you, because he's very British. And
it's one of my favorite accents in the world, too.
And what he has done is he ends up over at this high school football stadium, which is not unusual for the area.
Everybody around here, they didn't even bat an eye.
We got him. It's part of what happens. Now, you go out to Texas, some of the crazy ones they build there.
Dude, or if he would have ended up at Buford.
Buford's got an amazing facility. I want you to take a listen, as this is a guy who has grown up playing sports, British, and then he discovers high school football stadiums in America.
There's honestly no way that this is normal. Look at this.
Normal.
Like, this is a high school stadium? What? Look at the amount of seats in this place. Do they actually fill these stadiums? Like, do people actually come for the games that actually fill these out? Because that's honestly mental. Like, that is crazy. There is a ton of seats in here. If this was England, it would literally be like on a little park field with dog everywhere. Like, the comparison is crazy.
I love it. Normal. It's not normal.
He is out.
Love the British accent.
In Bogart, Georgia.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
And the crazy thing is, that's miles and miles away from big city Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's in the sticks, man.
In fact, what I would tell that gentleman is, the smaller the town, the more filled that thing is.
No kidding. That's exactly right.
Like, you get a Friday night in Bogart at North Oconee.
Big times, and God forbid he ever stumble on Buford.
I got a cousin that coaches at North Oconee. Oh, they pack it.
They pack it. No doubt about it.
That's the thing that I wish they could see, is that packed out. Because he's talking about how if this was in England,
he's like, we play
a park with dog poop everywhere.
Dog poo.
Yes, America is greater than everything that you've ever experienced, sir.
It's just so many little things.
I know.
That, and I've appreciated this, their posts are pointing out these little things that we just kind of go about it.
We take for granted.
We just go about it and we say, yeah, that's just how it is. It's shocking to them because it does speak to the relative amount of wealth versus what is all around the rest of the world. A poor person in the United States is not a poor person compared to everyone else in the world. Their version of poor. Tug has seen the rest of the world. He's told you, they fight over your trash. Yet, here, when I think about my All-Star Special, these people that are from, other parts of the world are like, oh my God, y'all eat like this whenever you want?
No wonder y'all fat.
No wonder everybody huge. Y'all can do what you want.
Look, there maybe is some downsides to all this amazing.
Yes, surprisingly, we struggled with COVID more than other people.
Yeah, that's right.
The Japanese were looking at us going like, man, it's really chewing y'all up, isn't it?
Good thing we had our Zens.
That's right.
That's right. Let's go, dude. And now we know that it's good for us too. Winner!
The convenience store ones, not just Buc-ee's, but when they walk into place and one of them I was laughing at. It was three guys, and I'm trying to remember what World Cup match they had gone to, but they did the match, they did the drinking, and then they showed them at Waffle House, and then they showed them going to all these places, including I think it was a Walmart, where they were pointing at the guns. They're like, look at all these guns.
This is great.
like these people are incredible here.
Yeah, that's right, because you can buy shotguns and stuff out there, I'm sure, right? At Walmart. I know you can buy ammo at Walmart.
Sure.
I've done it myself.
It used to be over at Dick's Sporting Goods. You know, that changed a few years ago. But our sporting goods stores, and let's face it, there are quality places like our friends over at True Prep for years. Though that place would be shocking to many Europeans.
Well, because they've never seen anything like it.
No,
because
not at all.
They're in that,
that Second Amendment matters here.
It doesn't exist there. Now, people stab each other all the time. You know, like the amount of people getting stabbed is through, 20 times what it is here, because people don't stop being violent or don't stop committing crimes just because you take the weapon away. They replace the weapon with another weapon.
There was another gentleman that I saw that was walking through. Now, this was like small town Alabama, like just, typical Main Street.
Like Dothan?
Yeah, like along those lines where, it runs each side of the road, and he's talking about how many American flags are there and how many stores. He goes, people keep saying hi to you.
Yeah,
he's
I love
like,
it.
He goes, I can walk around here. Another guy was like, I can walk down an alley in this country
and not
worry.
Get stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny about the American flags because look, one over there, one right here, one right there, one right there. There's 4 within 15 feet of us. So I understand what he's talking about. And the only thing that would make it better is if there were 5.
Telling you, if you want to do your heart some good, to just enjoy
Absolutely right.
from people that it looks so alien to them, but they appreciate it. And in fact, I would say the really cool part for me is that we talk about the fabric of America and what people are mostly like. When you step out of politics, what people are mostly like, an overwhelming majority, are just good people. And if they buy into the American dream and capitalism and what we're about and our Judeo-Christian ethics, it's a pretty good place to be. And it's taken a bunch of foreigners looking at us to highlight it and go like, we don't have any of this.
Or even, or remind you.
Yeah, or remind you this is the core of what America is.
God, I love it, dude. I love it.
And it's taken drunk people after soccer matches, football matches, to highlight some of the really great things about this country.
Isn't that the greatest part? Because all of them lit up like the 4th of July.
Shakespeare will tell it's the drunk, the fool, the clown. They speak the most truth. Europeans, after a soccer match, drunk, are like, oh my God, this is the greatest place in the world.
God, it does my heart a world of good. I hope everybody's paying attention. I hope everybody's listening. And I hope it helps you remember how fortunate you are. Be grateful that you were born in the United States.
Shout out to North Oconee for shocking that man. They packed this football place? Yes, sir.
What is North Oconee? Are they the Bulldogs? Do you know?
Titans, I think.
Titans, okay. Shout out. Cut your call out to the Titans. All right. When we come back, you are winning. If Los hadn't convinced you already, let us try. You are winning, and America is winning next on Extra.
Your favorite Extra shows are streaming live video from the studio on Extra 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Extra YouTube channel and get the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
Celebrate the red, white, and Braves during Independence Week at Truist Park. The week begins June 30th through July 2nd as the Cardinals come to town. Fans can score the corduroy throwback cap presented by Napa on July 2nd, featuring an American flag patch. Then it's a division showdown as the Mets battle your Braves, July 3rd through the 6th. Join us as we celebrate the 30th anniversary of Atlanta hosting the Olympics with Olympic theme night on July 3rd. And on Saturday, July 4th, enjoy some freedom, fireworks, and fastballs. Start your day at the Independence Day block party before the game, then enjoy the Southeast's largest fireworks show after the game and all kinds of fun in between. The week wraps up with back-to-back giveaways, the Kids Mini Drake Baldwin bobblehead, and the Matt Olson bobble card presented by Delta. Visit Braves.com/independence to purchase tickets for $17.76. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 1063.
The Iran deal is a big deal at the G7 summit. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
They will not develop, purchase, buy, or any other thing. They're not going to acquire a nuclear weapon. If they do, all hell will rain down on them.
President Trump, a short time ago, sitting next to the Emir of Qatar at the summit in France.
Because they were really on the line. They were in the front line. They were being shot at just about as much as anybody, but you were a lot closer.
The president says the memorandum of understanding with Iran that'll be finalized Friday will have shipping fully flowing again through the Strait of Hormuz while nuclear negotiations continue. And the president insists.
No, we're not investing any money. We have the right to if we want, but we're not investing any money. We didn't pay for it like Obama did. He paid.
Referencing the 2015 Iran nuclear deal he canceled during the first Trump administration, but there are questions about what Iran gets financially, with details still not released.
The only economic benefit that Iran would see from the U.S. is lifting of the sanctions.
Fox's Aisha Hasni monitoring the summit from Geneva.
We're eager to see this text because that might be included in this text, but right now, according to the vice president and U.S. officials, it sounds like that money is coming from the Gulf. Gulf allies will put that fund together, $300 billion. We don't know if it's up front over the course of time.
Russia's war in Ukraine, also a big topic at the G7 summit. The Air Force will try to figure out why a B-52 bomber went down in a fiery crash right after takeoff in California, killing all 8 people on board. There are primaries or runoffs in 3 states today, Alabama and Oklahoma and Georgia, where the polls are just opening. Same in Washington, D.C., where they're voting for mayor.
Former council member Kenya McDuffie, council member and Democratic Socialist Janice Lewis George, they're the front runners in the Democratic primary, which all but assures them a general election win in this heavily Democratic city. One of the major issues splitting the two, addressing teen takeovers.
That's Fox's Rich Edson. America's listening to Fox News.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer. You know, you can download the Kimmer podcast on the Extra 1063 app, along with a ton of other great shows. Go get it, for crying out loud, now on Apple or Android.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 1063. Little Luke Combs getting you started on a Election Day Tuesday. You must get out and vote. It is so important. I encourage you to do it. I think there's nothing more American than that. And if you love this country like I know you do, get out and vote. And I feel like I'm preaching to the choir a little bit with this audience, Los, because they're the 1%.
They're the actives.
They're the actives. Yeah, sorry.
You're not the casuals.
That's right.
This matters to you. It matters to us.
That's exactly right. I love it. So get out there. And there was something that Ted Cruz said, and he'll join us at 8:25 this morning. There's something that Ted Cruz said yesterday when he was stumping for Rick Jackson. He said, make sure you get out there and vote tomorrow 10 times if necessary. And he said, no, I'm not talking about breaking any sort of election laws and rules. I know in some places they do. And I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm saying is get your phone out, text 9 of your friends, and make sure that they get out to vote, and you have essentially voted 10 times. As always, it was very smart, very clever, because he's such a smart and clever guy. It was cool to see him do that, and it got a good laugh. But it's true. You should encourage people to get out and vote. And if you're a Burt voter, make sure that you get everybody out that you know and get out and support Burt. If you're a Rick voter, get those folks out that are important to you, whether at church or home, and get them out and vote. It's so freaking important and so simple to do.
I'm trying to point out, I'm not trying to fence sit on this because, again, I don't know if anyone in the marketplace that has had more time with both candidates than you and I have over the last month and a half, where they have sat in that chair for an hour at a time, a couple of different times, and we've gotten to ask them all sorts of questions. Yep. And maybe even more importantly, the discussions off the air when the microphone's off and you're getting an additional regular conversation, and it's not different from what's going on the air. That's important to me.
Yep, I agree.
I've said that I don't think either one of them is so wildly radioactively different from the other where you said, on this one issue, I would never vote for you. To where I think either candidate is going to be in a good place when it comes to running against Keisha Lance Bottoms. But today is the day we get to decide who that candidate's going to be.
That's exactly right. So
get out there.
Encourage everybody to get out there and get it all done. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, the first thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
It's too much
Put a boot in
that's
your
right.
ass, courtesy
Which
of
should make you smile. And we are. That's the thing that I want you to understand. And I've been discouraged too. For 4 years, I was really discouraged. And it has changed lately. America is winning. You're winning. And I want you to know why I think that. Because when you hear a socialist, and, they're all for all kinds of crazy things that, have nothing to do with you and probably have nothing to do with your life and won't make it better. I want you to meet Dan Kervick. He's a socialist professor at St. Aslam College up in New Hampshire. And he's so very sad. Due to that, you're going to be happy. And that's why I want you to not give in. That's why I want you to get out and vote, because your state and your country and your community, it depends on it. I want you to listen to this post from Dan Kervick, socialist professor in college. It reads like this. We've lost Venezuela. We might lose Cuba. The conditions of Palestine are desperate. Global climate action is dead.
No.
Techno-fascists are running everything. The U.S. left is a magnified populist trash in possession of zero brain power. That is from a socialist professor. If you don't think America is winning under Donald Trump, listen to what that socialist in New Hampshire thinks. He is beside himself at all the winning that is happening in America, and he hates all of it.
They really believed, and man, they were moving towards it. When Barack Obama came into office and talked about the fundamental change of America, the socialists knew what that meant. We're going to be moving towards socialism. Like, this is coming. And then Obamacare was supposed to be the first massive attack on the capitalist system and what it meant. And what has it largely done? It's fizzled out to a point where if you have Obamacare, you're busy screaming at the rest of Americans, why won't you pay for my health care?
Because I don't want to.
Because we're not doing that.
Same reason I won't pay for your car payment.
Exactly. That's on you. So you figure it out from there. But the push, they never saw, and because of how far that they pushed, they never saw that there would be a rise of a Donald Trump. The only reason there's such a thing as a Donald Trump is because there was a Barack Obama.
That's right.
And the only reason that Donald Trump was back in office is because you had the craziness of the Biden administration and all of their far left leanings. And so now what does it turn back into? Socialism is being returned to the pockets of the country and of the world where it exists. And especially here, it's like, okay, do you have socialism in New York? All right, that's what you're doing. Tell me about how that ends up working out for you. Do you have socialism in Cuba? It's failing. That's the next one to fall. Venezuela is basically our puppet. It's like what it is.
Absolutely. And if you look at South America, all the countries that were socialist,
they have moved, as they put it, far right.
That's right.
Like,
of course.
No. They just moved back away from this stuff.
That's right. And down in Colombia, I think, what is it? Colombia and Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, and you can fact check me if I get it wrong, and I'll correct it. But I believe it is Colombia and Brazil that are kind of the last two holdouts. And in Colombia, I believe it is the populist or the conservative that is actually winning, and the polling shows that. And that would be if it were to happen, that would be the next, and then it would just be Brazil that would be left. That would be it.
Remember, the only difference in that part of the world is economic policy. It's development. And I believe we've now seen, especially like Venezuela was the cautionary tale. How did people lose 70% of their wealth in a barely 20-year span? Well, it was because you went socialist. And suddenly you were down to 30% of your wealth. The wages were ridiculous. They were 30% of what they had previously been from nearly 20 years ago because the government couldn't afford you.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I believe that has been that cautionary tale that we've now seen play out through the rest of South America, where it has turned into, hey, we do have the ability to have a more stable, better economy, but you can't allow the socialists involved in it.
Isn't it crazy how much that they adore Cuba? It's failed. It's miserable. We joke that people float away on trash boats to get away from it.
However they can.
And yet, for the socialists, for the communists, it is like their, I don't want to say utopia, but kinda. That's the way they look at it. Like it's the last place. Communism is still living. Communism is still living.
It's not about what socialism, what communism brings to society. That's not why they marvel at it. Because they'll tell you about, look at all these, your building you live in is all provided by the government. It's a shoebox.
That's right. And crumbling.
You have free health care. It ain't any good. Mm-hmm. What they appreciate is the power.
Oh, yeah. They recognize that.
The power. And it's seductive to think about, what if we had that? What if I had that sort of power? Look what I could do with it. Man hasn't changed. Man's never changed. It's the reason why the Founding Fathers built this country in the way that they did, because power is seductive, and it does what it does to people. It's never changed.
And the good book says it, and those Founding Fathers were believers, and they knew how broken people are.
I mean, the Castros, and we'd use it as a promo, it's a great example. The Castros ended up being worth, between Fidel and Raul, $900 million
on an island that can't keep the power on.
Whereas the Queen of England, with all of her assets before her passing, was worth $400 million. The royal family was worth less than half of what the Castros had accumulated by hogging all the wealth for themselves in Cuba.
You know what's crazy, Los, is when every socialist movement is talking about the people and the raised fist, the people.
Workers of the world unite and all that stuff.
But when you said what you said, it is the exact truth about that authoritarian, that craving for power. What if I had all this power? Not the people. What if I had all this power? And if you look at Cuba, it's the Castros. They have all the power. All the people are in poverty. And yet, though, that sign, that discussion is always power to the people. Except it never works that way in those countries, ever.
It's such a reverse psychology moment. It's the pretzel moment for the left when they talk about the fascist running this country.
We have a song if you want to play about it.
Oh, I'm okay. I heard, what did you call it? Gay bluegrass?
Yeah.
Yes. and I always go back to the same time period to give you an example of what happened. But let's say that you had a scenario in which case there was a possibility of a pandemic, and let's say the leader of the country decided to shut everything down and told all the states that they couldn't open and told all the people, here's what you're going to do and here's how it's going to be. Well, there's certain people that would say, man, that's great power. There's also people like me that would say that was fascist. That's also not what Donald Trump did. He left it to the states.
That's right.
If you were ever going to have a huge power grab and tell everybody this is what you're going to do, well, then it would be during an emergency situation, and here's how it's going to play out. Yet Donald Trump did not do that. Did he mock Brian Kemp for opening up too early? Yeah, but wasn't any way to stop it. It was up to the states. That's how it works. Whereas the next guy comes in and tells everybody, if you don't take this shot, we're firing you. Tell me who the fascist is.
Not only will we fire you, we're going to isolate you.
We'll remove you from the military.
That's right.
This is what we're going to do to you.
We're not going to let you work. We're not going to let you serve. We're not going to let you run on the beach.
So don't tell me about how fascist Donald Trump is. I lived through your fascism. I saw it.
Leftism has to silence everything around it because they can't make their case on why it works, because it does not. If you escape it, or if you can't escape it, you will. As we, make jokes about the people on the trash. I want you to hear from Andrew Clavin, this guy that works for the Daily Wire. He summed it up really well, what we're talking about.
This is the third thing about leftism. It is an international movement. It is a movement, an imperialist movement that cannot, because it doesn't work, it has to take over every place, because if you can escape it, you will. I mean, look at the people swimming through the shark-infested waters, aboard to get from Cuba to America. So it's an international movement. As I said, I think it was last week, bad ideas have to silence everybody because they can't make their cases. So that's what we're looking at. We're actually looking at this rising movement. It may not make it. The Democrats may, rebel, and more centrist Democrats may come forward, but I don't really see that many centrists. The people that they're calling centrists are now so far to the left that they're out of their minds as well.
I've been trying to tell you the exact same thing.
Think about it, though. Take it a step further.
Where are the centrists?
Think about it in America, dude. He said they have to infiltrate everything because it doesn't work. They have to silence. What has education done?
Infiltrated in order to preach propaganda.
Hollywood.
Same.
Nonprofits. Yep. NGOs. Dude, if you don't believe us when we tell you, just look at what's happened, it should be so crystal clear to you.
And this is where you also make the mistakes. Because of what has gone on in terms of once Donald Trump got into office, and it probably even started earlier, it's probably started in June of 2024 when the media tried to cover up for Joe Biden right up until the point where he had...
I didn't even write down media, which is the biggest miss.
And that was the media, corporate media is now dead. And as X became more prevalent, as it became more free, that's where the media now exists. That's where the discussion point is. That's where the left had to go create Blue Sky because they're like, it's too free over there. They're
terrible.
mean.
It's terrible.
I throw out a random idea and they get all upset at me. Oh
they
my
attack
God.
Me and tell me why it won't work.
It's a mean place. But to think about then, you start adding up and you start, summarizing all of this stuff. They are on the run. They're just trying to do what they're trying to do. It's the whole pufferfish tactic. I'm going to make myself look bigger than I am. You're not. You're not doing well. It ain't working in this country. We're not listening to it. Yeah, you'll have pockets.
Yeah.
Just as you always will have pockets of places, on the coast that all believe in this stuff. But it's not. I was told you're gonna win Iowa. You're not winning Iowa. Okay, you're not winning Texas.
They were trying to
convince these
somebody.
Places.
They were trying to convince somebody, hoping that it would create some sort of momentum, like artificial momentum, and it didn't because it wasn't there. But they convinced somebody. All the networks ran with it, including Fox News Channel. Like, don't sit back and think, well, I don't watch those others, I watch Fox. You're getting the same stuff, man. It's the same propaganda.
And we even saw this play out yesterday as we're getting an Iran deal, and we're going to have that signed. The amount of information that was being thrown out from that was, in this case, there's a $300 billion fund, and it is funded by the Gulf states. Now, we're going to see a breakdown of the stipulations by which those funds are released, and I'm sure they're going to be pretty extensive. It's, all right, you'll have access to this if this. Access to this amount of money if this. And those are going to be the checks and balances to ensure that Iran does what we're wanting them to do with this deal. But all you had yesterday were Democrats running around saying, and the media supporting them, we're giving them $300 billion to leave.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like,
it's the same thing Obama did. I was like, no. Well,
hold on a second.
It's quite different. Obama sent our cash to them on pallets. That's not what's happening.
With no conditions outside of give us back our sailors.
That's right. Absolutely right.
And then they'll tell you, oh, look what they were able to do is slowing down their enrichment. No, they didn't slow it down one bit. That's how we ended up here.
It's why they're at 60%, not 5%.
Yeah, and so we will be in a scenario where as the rest of this information comes out, and we'll see how there'll be parts of this deal that people will be upset about, and I get that. I'll be looking at it going, but here's the other part. If I wanted to like every part of the deal, I probably would have had to put boots on the ground, and that was a zero
Nobody had the stomach for that.
No way I was going to do it. No, I talked about that from the minute one. So, but that's the way this game is now played. It's like, let me just see if I can overwhelm with misinformation.
Kind of like Gavin Newsom out in California, overwhelming with misinformation. Different story, but it's the same thing. He's being he's being investigated by the DOJ, which started under Joe Biden, but that's not the story that's out there. It's all misinformation.
I mean, I was told I was a purveyor of malinformation, that it was correct. You just didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, right.
You wouldn't be able to accept it. I'm like, yeah, I accept that.
That's right.
Got a history of some malinformation.
The malinformation station, Xtra 106.3. Let's go. All right, when we come back, who can fundraise for the general? It's going to be so important, that discussion next. Here on the Morning Xtra, Tug and Los on Xtra 106.3.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Xtra from 6 to 10. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck at noon, and the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. And hang out every night for Jesse Kelly at 6 and Jimmy Fela at 9. And stream it all live in crystal clear HD on the Xtra 106.3 app.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Well, I like talking about this because it matters. Hey, it's Tug. Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning are bringing back something that I care about, something that I think is important, and I think you will too. Their 6th annual Christmas in July, benefiting Skyland Trail right here in Atlanta. They do incredible work helping people facing mental health challenges get real, lasting help and support. And Central is proud to give back to the community that they've been serving since 1947. Here's the part I like. It's so easy to help. And it actually helps you too. It's a win-win, as they call it. When you sign up for a Central Heating and Air Conditioning maintenance agreement, they'll donate $10 directly to Skyland Trail. And on your side, you're getting the priority service. You're getting those seasonal tune-ups to help prevent breakdowns, better efficiency, especially when this Georgia heat kicks in, and it's a-coming. It's one of those rare wins you can take care of your home and help somebody out at the exact same time. Central services all makes and models. And with them, you're never just a number. You're part of the family. I can tell you that. Even Los can tell you that. He's been a customer for a long time, too. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com is where you sign up. Carrier products, carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with all 4 seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday.
And here's President Trump, also endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win. Burt Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Burt Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
It's June 16th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is World Tapas Day. This mainstay of Spanish cuisine is often served up as a snack or as an appetizer before a meal and can include lots of tasty things from olives and cheese to hams and squid. On this day in 1884, the first roller coaster in America opens at Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York. Created by LaMarcus Thompson, it traveled about 6 miles an hour and cost a nickel to ride. The largest mass protest in Hong Kong history in 2019. Upwards of 2 million people participated, according to organizers, angry over a bill that would allow extradition from Hong Kong to mainland China. Ironically, 3 years earlier, Shanghai Disneyland Park, the first Disney park in mainland China, opens to the public. One of the greatest songs of all time. Like a rolling stone. Bob Dylan records Like a Rolling Stone in 1965. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, June 16th, and here are your headlines. A group of San Francisco Giants pitchers are drawing attention after writing Bible verse references on their hats during the team's Pride Night. Pitcher Landon Roop said the message represented his Christian faith in God's covenant, while the MLB has since warned that the players writing on their hats violates league rules. The league did not announce any further discipline. Atlanta hosted its first ever FIFA World Cup match yesterday as Spain took on Capo Verde at a sold-out Mercedes-Benz Stadium that ended in a 0-0 draw. Economists estimate that the tournament could generate more than $500 million in economic impact for the region, fueled by spending from out-of-state and international visitors. Officials say the event could also help attract future business investments to the metro Atlanta area. And finally, the Atlanta Preservation Center is raising concerns over plans to move the Olympic Cauldron from its longtime home in Summerhill to Centennial Olympic Park. Preservation advocates argue the landmark is an important part of the neighborhood's identity dating back to the 1996 Olympic Games. Georgia State University says the move is intended to better celebrate Atlanta's Olympic legacy, while the tower structure and Olympic Rings Bridge will remain in Summerhill. Coming up in about an hour from now, Ted Cruz will join Tug and Los, and at 9:25, Dr. RichMcCormick will join the show. Today we'll see the wet weather return with a high of 73 and a low of 67. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10. Dr. McCormick's office reached out and was just like, hey, can we come on and talk about getting out and vote, the importance of getting, which is what we kind of started the show with and talked about throughout. He wanted to make sure that people understand how important it is and to encourage you to take part in the process of electing your representatives. It's unique to the United States.
And there's nothing on the line for him. It's not like he's asking you to get out and vote for me. He's just, no.
That's right.
Get out and vote. Take part in the process,
That's
which
right.
is what has been a theme that we've run through. And as we come closer to our 250th anniversary, this is one of the empowering things you've had for this time period. Let's make sure that you get a chance to use it.
Burt Jones, polls are now open, Georgia, and he's asking for a vote. Great picture of Burt and his family there, and he's reminding you. And so everybody's talking about it. But there was a reason when when Dr. McCormick's folks reached out and said, hey, can we come on and talk about the election and stuff? I was like, sure. But there was a bit of a selfish reason to have him come on. Did you see his pictures?
No, I did not.
Guess who was at USC Freedom 250? Dr. RichMcCormick, dude. He was living life. Here's pictures. There's pictures of him, and he the biggest smile. I mean, he looked like a kid that just got a chocolate cake. Huge smiles. And it's him with Scott Bessent. It's him with Luke Bryan, the country singer who was there.
We only were asking for a year, but that's fine.
That's right. I know, right? And there's a couple other folks in there that.
All right, that's now what I know I'm going to ask.
Well, but see, that's why it was a bit selfish because I knew he would love to talk about it because he got to go.
I'm a little hurt.
I didn't even think of that. So maybe I stepped in.
You weren't into it the way I was in for a year. Once it was announced last year.
Dude, I would have went, though.
I was already bringing it up.
I would have absolutely
would have been asleep by 9:30.
That's not true. Not if I was there. Not if I was there. No.
I mean, we had a town hall in which, let's face it, I was the heavy. Okay? Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick was the nice guy on stage handling all the questions. Tug was aw shucks Tug, with the exception of one guy where he was like, name one, sir. I was the one on the mic who kept getting crazy people to stop talking.
That's right. Absolutely. That's the truth.
In fact, at one point I go, do you have a question for the congressman, sir?
Dude, it was great. It was great. That was probably at least in my opinion. That was the shining moment of the whole town hall. Because he was just going on and on.
Do you have a question for the congressman, sir?
And finally, he got to it, I think. He may have just, and it was something that was, I don't even know if it was relevant to the conversation. He just wanted to spout.
Oh, he was going in circles, and then his point was that that the administration continued to violate the Constitution.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is when you said, well, name one.
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
well, not going to Congress in order to go to war. And that's when we got into the War Powers Act of 1973. But, I mean, clearly he didn't know any of this stuff, and it's not his business to know. No, of course not. It's just whatever Rachel Maddow told him to say. I will say that this isn't rising to Warrior Alliance pain for me. But this one hurts.
I know. We'll have to call him on it. Be like,
I'm going to.
Dr. McCormick, you didn't invite us.
Dr. McCormick, I'm just going to point out that I feel like at your town hall that I was the heavy.
I did your bidding.
I was like, I have no problem yelling at people.
On your behalf, sir.
On your behalf, sir. I was like, I know you wanted to be the nice guy and to stay out of it, and I didn't have any problem being mean to anyone because I'm a terrible person, and I thought that would get me into Freedom 250.
Why didn't it?
But you were there.
I can't help but notice there's lots of pictures with you and no pictures with me.
You didn't have your hammer.
That's right.
That's me.
That's right.
So that's 2 hours from now. Wait for that nemesis confrontation.
That's right.
No, okay. I'm glad he went. And obviously you see the crowd predominantly because it was, I think they had a total of 4,000. It was predominantly servicemen and women.
That's right. Absolutely.
So it's
a great event, but Dr. McCormick with lots of big smiles in those pictures. Big smiles.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get
for
into
sure.
those really
and then
quickly.
Ted Cruz about an hour from now, who spoke on behalf of Rick Jackson yesterday.
Before we jump into this topic, can I point one more thing out? Because we've talked about the strength of the Republican candidates on both sides of this.
Yeah.
That Burt Jones and Rick Jackson both have mostly their pluses. Yeah, if you want to vote because there's a particular minus, okay, we can have that conversation. But as of this morning, we talked about the betting markets. Cauchy's one of them. And Cauchy now has the Republicans set to win the governorship in the state of Georgia.
With either candidate, meaning?
Yes.
Okay.
You're now seeing the dip I think we're going to see as that takes off from Keisha Lance Bottoms.
My son Jake, but I can't remember if I've told you this or not. If I have, stop me. But he's got a group of buddies. You know, there's 8 deep. I've talked about them a million times. Well, 2 of the 8 are very liberal mindset. And Jacob tells me last night or night before, he was like, the 2 liberals, he was like, they cannot stand Keisha Lance Bottoms. They're going to completely they're going to vote down the rest of the ticket. They're not voting for her.
They were paying attention.
Dude, these are 20, 21-year-old kids.
They were paying attention. They grew up with this stuff. They saw it in their face.
They saw it. They saw it because they missed their entire freshman year of high school because of what was happening in the summer of love and COVID. Hold up, I can't go to school, but you can be out there rioting. You can burn the city down. That's okay, but going to school is not. Okay, got it.
Depending on the county, groups of 10 or more that get together in your home, no. But protests.
Oh, that's just fine.
Hundreds.
So when it comes down to that point, when we get there, it is going to be about raising money. And I don't know about you, Los, but I feel pretty good about where the Republicans stand versus where the Democrats stand.
This is one of the aspects we're going to see what's happened. And this is going to be the sum total of what the Trump administration has done in gutting USAID with the help of Marco Rubio, getting rid of these NGOs that were basically taking taxpayer money. It would be sent over for climate change, Stacey Abrams, or another particular factor. And that money would then find itself being washed and handed back to Democrat politicians, basically. It was, well, we gave it for this, and in the interest of climate change, we're donating it to this particular politician because he's going to help fight climate change. It was your money.
The whole time.
It was never Stacey Abrams' money. It was your money. And so your money would find its way to people that you had no interest in voting for. That was part of the game. And so what has happened? Well, as of now, when it comes to cash on hand, and this is the latest reporting that we have had, cash on hand, you have right about $95 million that is there for the RNC. The DNC has been right around 14 million cash on hand, but here's the problem. The Republicans have no debt on their ledger. The Democrats have $17.5 million. They're basically $3.5 million in the hole.
Which we've been telling you for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And so why is that a factor now? Because as we get out of the primary, once we have a Senate candidate for Republican and also a governor candidate, these people are going to be looking to obviously fundraise still on their own behalf in their own campaign. But when things are tight, they're going to be looking towards the RNC. Say, hey, I need an infusion here. We got to bring this thing home. And the Democrats won't have it unless they borrow more money, whereas the Republicans do.
Dude, what a terrible dilemma to be in. And that's why, and we brought this up.
And this is your theory that I think is largely correct. Yes.
With him locking arms, because they have no other choice. I don't believe John Ossoff is like, hey, man, Keisha's, boy, she's the ticket. Yeah, let's lock arms
with her. This is a winner here.
Keisha had already said, I either campaign now and get through the primary, or I roll the dice here and use the money during the general. She said that out loud. John Ossoff, as you're pointing out, has no money. So what do? They lock arms, even though it's not a good marriage for either one of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a different financial game. And we'll see if it matters. Politics is largely won by money. I know that it makes people feel gross because there's politicians that raise significantly less. Donald Trump won with significantly less than the $2 billion. But the only reason Kamala Harris, it was even a factor for people, was that she had $2 billion behind her, and people got, oh, well, maybe she is the second coming of Joan of Arc. In 7 swing states, it didn't matter. The popular vote, it didn't matter.
No.
But it got her close enough for at least people to think, hey, I'm not wasting my vote by going out to vote for her.
$2 billion buy you a bunch of ads.
Yeah.
And you know, when it comes to those ads, you can control the message, right? You put her in a position where she seems very presidential and everything's good. And then she goes and opens her mouth, and it doesn't reflect anything that you saw in the ads. And so the $2 billion was wasted.
And I do believe, for as much money as Rick Jackson has put into this, and that's by his own filings, I don't think he wants to continue to do that moving forward. He's going to be looking like, hey, RNC, back me here. Why would you? Right?
That's what they do.
Like, we're going to fundraise, but
right.
I don't want to have to keep using all of my own money to do this.
I wouldn't want to either.
I'd be like, RNC.
Yeah, where you at?
Where you at? Let's do some work here. We're not telling you he needs another $50 million, but this is going to be the most expensive governor race in the country.
Good faith backing is all I'm looking for. And,
sure.
And if Bert was to come out on top, good faith backing is what he's looking for. And you know that Donald Trump will be all in for that, as he is the Trump-endorsed candidate. So when it comes to spending money, Georgia's not going to have a problem. I don't know what states will, but I can guarantee you Georgia ain't going to be one.
And here's that other factor, too. Burt Jones has brought this up with us on the air, so we're not speaking out of school at all on this. His donors have continued to donate to him throughout this process. And, again, he's got a lot of small donation donors. But the fact that when after the initial primary was done, you go back to them and they're like, yeah, and they sent him another infusion of cash. So you're going to be continuing to look to do that. But this is why I talk about the importance of whoever wins this thing tonight. Everybody else has to fall in line and get behind whoever the candidate's going to be. And that's where the money factor can be a really huge deal because the DNC doesn't have it.
This is the easiest it seems like it's ever been to whichever candidate wins for everybody else to fall in line and just go lockstep. Because sometimes it's not that easy. We've seen it before where you're just like, oh, I don't want to have to do this. I'm going to swallow the bitter pill. I don't think we have that now.
I don't detect a Brad Raffensperger situation where people were so anti Brad Raffensperger that there was no way. Like people would be like, I'd sooner just not go vote.
I just won't vote.
Whereas you do have, now let's face it, there are people that are pointing out, well, this guy is this person's candidate. Initially it was, well, Rick Jackson, he's quietly Brian Kemp's, and that's establishment Republican, and you should, well, Brian Kemp then
endorse
the other guy.
That's right.
Who's also Trump's guy. Which is, so, you're
that's why I think that's why it came out of left field.
Yeah, I was like, what? Wait, hold on a second. That kind of ruined the whole dynamic of what people were arguing about. People will talk about Rick Jackson, his donations that he's made. As we have pointed out, and I'm just laying it out here honestly, on behalf of his company, in order to make sure, and he pointed out on these airwaves, he's like, I've donated to good politicians and bad politicians in the interest of the business. I'm like, okay.
I don't know how you're upset with that.
There's the explanation.
Yeah. I don't know how you're upset with it.
I mean, if I ran a casino company, you know the amount of money and people I would have to grease the skids in Georgia to get that thing done? Dude. Just what it is. Not alibiing for him, just saying I can look at it and go, it's not a defining factor for me as to why I would vote or not vote against you.
That's exactly right. And if you were in the position as a businessman and you had the opportunity to do something and it was a $500 donation to get it done, guess what you're going to do?
Now, if you were to tell me that one of these candidates showed up and, let's say, campaigned on behalf of Mitt Romney, I'd be like, okay, we got a problem.
Yeah, I can't handle that.
But that hasn't happened.
There's some bridges that are just
some of these
too far.
I'm going to go.
There's some bridges that are just too far.
Yep, that one was too far for me.
I love it. When we come back, somebody lying about Jill Biden's book. I'll tell you who next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, June 16th. The Atlanta Braves are back at Truist Park to open up a homestand that begins with a visit from the San Francisco Giants. A 3-game series begins this evening. It'll be Grant Holmes on the mound. He'll be opposed by Adrian Hauser. First pitch is set for 7:15 tonight. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. On the injury front, catcher Drake Baldwin returns to the lineup tonight. He's missed several weeks with an oblique strain. As for starting pitcher Spencer Strider, he's been shut down for a month in order to deal with elbow and shoulder soreness. From college football, the Brendan Sorsby issue has been settled. He plans to enter into the NFL supplemental draft. Sorsby was originally ruled ineligible by the NCAA for betting on his own games. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Summer is here, and hopefully vacation is on the horizon. Whether the beach or maybe you're more of a mountain person, you've planned and saved in order to take some much-needed time off. You planned your vacation. Shouldn't you plan your retirement? You planned for a week in the sun, but have you planned for decades of golden years? Master Plan Retirement works with you to create a holistic, comprehensive retirement plan in order to offer the one thing your time off needs the most: peace of mind. From income and growth, tax strategy, legacy planning, and more, Master Plan Retirement walks alongside you to help ensure your golden years stay golden. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Visit masterplanretire.com. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could self-fund.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
The Morning Xtra, every weekday on your drive to work.
All Americans want to do is see you love America. We can disagree on all kinds of things. Am I getting 100% of what I want? No. And you never will. It doesn't matter who's elected. You're never getting 100% of what you want. But if you can go up there and say, damn it, I love America, and I'm going to do my best for her, dude, that's all most Americans need.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra 106.3 app.
Lo, somebody lying. On election day, somebody lying? I can't believe it. If you remember, I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Biden's job numbers. Remember how they were just totally made up?
They had to revise by 1 million down after he was out of office when they did the analysis of what had gone on. And every single month during that time period, during his administration, they would always be revised down the next month, revised down. And what we found is that they were basically artificially pumping up numbers by adding layer upon layer upon layer of government workers.
I don't know why Jill Biden's getting the same treatment.
Oh, I
because
do.
They're yeah, right. Well, maybe I say that in a sarcastic manner because somebody lying again about the numbers. Jill Biden's book has sold 20,000 copies in 2 weeks, and somebody's not being honest about it. And I don't know if it's the New York Times or Amazon, but I'm going to let you decide. So she's gotten incredible publicity across a range of networks, shows. So 20,000 copies in 2 weeks. It's at number 429, most popular book on Amazon. Guess where it sits on the New York Times list? They call it the bestseller list. It sits at number 1. So somebody ain't telling the truth. And I don't believe it to be Amazon. Something tells me Amazon is not making this up. Why? Like, what would be the benefit for them to artificially inflate some kind of number? Like, it just kind of shows you, okay, this book's been bought. Here's the ranking. 20,000 copies in the last 2 weeks. New York Times says it's a number 1 bestseller. I'm just not convinced that the New York Times is telling you the truth, just like they didn't tell you the truth with Joe Biden's job numbers.
May I aid in this discussion?
Yes, please, sir.
Because the reason why Amazon is such a dependable force when it comes to book sales is because they're able to track individual book sales. When a book ends up, let's say, having 20,000 copies bought, and they're sent all across the country, that is when Amazon has their rankings and what they do. The issue that you have going on with Jill Biden and how this is playing out is the bulk sales.
Yep.
Where, let's say, for instance, 1,000 are bought at a time, or 2,000 are bought at a time, or 10,000 are bought at a time. Sometimes that's actually done by the publishing house as part of a deal initially lined out in order to artificially inflate the numbers. Or if you happen to have, let's say, friendly people in politics that'll buy your book to hand them out.
Yep. A company that I once did work for would try to get well-known people on their shows. And they did that with a trade deal, basically. We're not going to pay you to come do this show, but what we are going to do is buy 1,000 copies of your CD. Or 1,000 copies of your book. They would secure the guest. We've got a great guest for our show, while on the back end, they're getting greased that way, so it shows up on the New York Times bestseller list to what Los is talking about. And
artificially pushed.
And then publishers and the authors themselves will do the exact same thing.
That's how the game works.
That's why she's number one New York Times bestseller list, but you're looking down and you're like, 429 on Amazon, 429. That's quite a drop.
It's a different rating system is how it plays out. Amazon, again, is tracking individual sales, not bulk sales. Now, let's face it. If you went and bought 5 copies of Jill Biden's book from Amazon, well, then you're fine. Like that is going to be tracked. When you buy 1,000, like, hold on a second, that's a bulk sale. What, are you going to use it to teach school?
Yeah, right. Not that book. Well, actually, I take that back. Nowadays, maybe. Flounder has chimed in, too. He says they also utilize stores like a Dollar Tree so they can send them in at bulk at low dollar sales.
Yes.
As far as how much you make on the book, but you get to count it as a unit sold. So Flounder chiming in, and that makes perfect sense to me because I've bought books at the Dollar Tree before and was surprised when I would see them. Be like, wow, this is a really great book. It's $1. How come?
She's written that book in order to be politically relevant. This wasn't a money deal. Like, granted, there are some people that'll have books that end up becoming legitimate bestsellers and they make quite a bit of money off of it, and that's how they build their empire, is book sales. Jill Biden isn't going to build any kind of empire off a book sale. She has to change the political narrative, and the idea that she went to number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list at least aids her in that, hey, people are buying my story. See, I'm a number 1 bestseller.
Already, Jill Biden already has an empire. They had 10 shell companies to make sure she had an empire. So your point's well taken. That she doesn't need the money. They've got plenty. But does she need that clout? Does she need that political?
The answer is yes. I watched it for 4 years.
Yeah. And wants it, too.
She was standing Joe up after the worst debate of all time. Mm-hmm. In modern political history, the worst debate of all time. The man was having trouble stringing sentences together. She publicly said she was worried he was having a stroke. And she stood him up in front of a crowd and said, you answered all the questions, Joe. You did great.
Like a child.
Like a child.
And then they went off to Waffle House and experienced what all the FIFA people are experiencing.
Because she was so concerned about a stroke. I think that was the funniest part that I heard from President Trump, was she was so concerned about him having a stroke, she took him to Waffle House.
Got some greasy food.
I'm not going to lie. Like, if
You'd be surprised what that All-Star cures.
I'd be surprised what that All-Star causes. Now, I love it.
Me too.
But if I did it every day, I think that there's a possibility that maybe my arteries or my brain might go, whoa, hold up a second, cowboy.
Everybody in here loves the Waffle House.
Yes.
You listening probably love the Waffle House too. But let's say you showed up at Northside Hospital, just as an example. And you're like, I think I'm having a stroke. And they're like, oh my gosh, you may be having a stroke. They would probably admit you. They would probably start taking care of, medicines, trying to get you. And then when they carted food in there, it wouldn't be the Waffle House. As much as I love it, as much as you love it, it's probably not what they're going to give.
So I'm not getting a hash brown bowl?
You're not. No. If you end up at Northside with a stroke. And look, I don't even know if Northside treats strokes. They probably do. I don't know. But just as the example, you pick the hospital. They're not carting in scattered, covered, and smothered.
They should, but...
Yeah, right. Look, if I'm going out...
I'm going out with a triple order of hash browns.
Hell
capped.
Yes.
Capped.
Me too.
And I might eat it all, or at least half of it. And then I'm going to look at the other half and go, I hate myself right now, but I love it.
I'm diving in. Dude, if I'm banged up, I'm going to go out banged up happy. It's just crazy to see how fake things can be. How the New York Times, they know what's going on. There could have been an editor's note saying, "Hey, here's the number. This is," and if you're a journalist worth your weight, you'd say, asterisk down at the bottom, "Hey, this is the way this gets done." You would kind of give a peek behind the curtain.
Another strange aspect of this is that when you have people that have risen to, let's say, number 1, number 2 on Amazon, yet the New York Times, depending on the politics, will not put it as one of their bestsellers.
Such a great point. Such a great point.
That happens on a regular basis.
Yeah, we've seen that a bunch of times.
Like if Michelle Obama writes a book, and whether it's bulk or anything else, oh, look, number 1.
Wow, amazing.
All right, if our next guest in the next hour, if Ted Cruz wrote a book and it went to number 1 on Amazon, I can guarantee you it's not showing up in the New York Times as a bestseller.
It would
guarantee
it would be very surprising if it did. But much like they presented the numbers in the Biden White House, now they're presenting the numbers for the First Lady. Nothing has changed. And you need to know the who, what, when, where, why. I'm not mad about it.
It's just the game, but understand the game. It's a shell game.
I just want you to know what happens. I think that's part of what we at least try to do here. As Los has coined it, we try to explain, not complain. Because it's easy to just get in here and complain about everything. God, it's terrible. It's the worst.
I just like explaining about what all the craziness that's going on and then saying, make your own mind off of
absolutely
after that.
Now you've got the information. Now you've got the other side of the story. Or as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story.
And now you know
the rest of
the story.
There was not a greater voice on radio back in the day than old Paul Harvey. He was the best. Morning Extra and Extra 1063. When we come back, you got 2 people to thank for your ability to speak freely. You have 2 people that you need to say thank you to. We'll tell you who those 2 people are. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063.
Now you know the rest of the story.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 1063.
The Queen and I spent most of yesterday driving across deserts in the Bortz bus, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. So I haven't had a chance to read any of the fine print about this supposed deal that Donald Trump has with Iran. But from what I do know, I'm out on a limb calling the whole thing BS. I hope that I am proven wrong. In a nutshell, Trump launched a military action against Iran and obliterated most of their military capabilities. Now comes this agreement. Trump says that the Straits of Hormuz will be opened. Iran and Oman say not so fast. We still get to collect fees instead of tolls. Yeah, okay. About the nuclear weapons and the enriched uranium, that can is being kicked down the road for 6 months. In other words, Nothing there. Listen, folks, Iran has made it clear, and it is in the Islamic playbook. It is okay to lie to deceive your enemies. Tell them anything, just don't tell them the truth. And that's what Iran and Oman are doing with Donald Trump right now. Iran will use this 6 months to beef up their nuclear program. They will never, ever voluntarily get rid of it. And they're also going to continue using the Straits of Hormuz as a cash cow. So what has Trump accomplished? Other than destroying much of Iran's military capability, I don't think he's done anything. You all go ahead and celebrate, wave those flags, put on those MAGA hats. But in 6 months from now, and that'll come pretty quick, you realize what a mess this is and continues to be. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Extra.
We just try and have the forum and ask the questions. When you send us information, emails, or anything else and say, hey, I want to know about this, I'm telling you, that goes to the front of the line of stuff we're going to ask about, because that is, let's face it, I have my own biases of stuff I want to hear about from politicians. I've got to have those go on the back burner and say, you know what, that may not be the most interesting aspect or what's going to make the decision on a vote for someone who's out there. And so when you give us that feedback, that goes to the front of the line on stuff we're going to talk about.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
It's the biggest part of the deal with Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump insisting again Iran won't be able to build a nuclear weapon.
And if they do, they suffer unbelievable consequences.
Also saying at the G7 summit in France.
We are not investing any money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday. It was ridiculous.
Iran could get sanctions relief as the nuclear talks continue on an agreement that will allow a free flow of shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The president also says he's not happy with Israel's continued attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon.
It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran.
Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv.
So this is really important because the Iranian foreign minister says that any attack in Lebanon will be considered a violation of the Memorandum of Understanding. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu last night indicated that the Israelis will continue to operate against Hezbollah, an Iran-backed group that is continuing to fire drones and rockets into Israel.
2 days after the UFC 250 event at the White House, we found out the FBI disrupted an alleged plot to attack it. 5 people in custody, at least 18 others being investigated, and Fox's Todd Pyro reports.
The suspects allegedly traveled to Fredericksburg, Virginia to make final preparations for the attack. And the alleged plan allegedly included explosive-packed drones hitting buildings near the event, forcing a mass evacuation, and then steering crowds, get this, toward a pre-staged sniper team.
Of course, that never happened. The plot was thwarted. The president called the UFC event Sunday night spectacular. The polls are just opening now in Oklahoma, where it's primary day, and there's also voting in key Senate races now, runoffs in Alabama and Georgia, and there's a primary for mayor in Washington, D.C. America's listening to Fox News.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
No need for traffic updates. We always steer you right. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug
and Los on Extra 106.3. Alan Jackson, I think it is so great that the Braves are honoring Alan Jackson with a bobblehead, and I've never asked for a single thing around here. I've never asked for a bobblehead or a hat or a shirt. I've never asked for a thing. I really want one of these Alan Jackson floating down the river bobbleheads that the Braves are putting out.
Nice.
Dude, I mean, and I don't know why I want it so bad. I mean, it's Alan, I guess it should be obvious.
I think the ad campaign got you.
Well, that, and yeah, having blooper.
People were not happy about that.
Weren't happy about what?
The ad cam. Well, it wasn't technically the Braves' fault, but it was just the amount that the commercial was showing. It was every commercial break.
Well, I mean, Braves Vision, I mean, they're still working up to...
Correct.
They're filling in the blanks.
They got to get the inventory.
That's right, and they're not there yet. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess I get it, but who cares? I mean, do you really pay that much of attention? I mean, are you lured in? That must have been a good ad campaign.
That upset about commercials?
That's right, you're lured in.
First off, you're the only person still watching those commercials.
Yeah, right.
Like, eventually, you just get to where the brain goes numb on those. You go,
exactly
okay,
right.
yeah, I get it.
And you're talking to whomever is sitting on the couch with you.
And then everybody accomplished what they wanted to. You know that this bobblehead's coming out.
In August. And I'd wondered why they hadn't selected a country artist yet, because so many country artists are huge Braves fans. Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, Cole Swindell, Zach Brown, Alan Jackson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Thomas Rhett. I mean, all of them huge Braves fans. So it's fine. It's good that they finally have honored Alan Jackson. And he's coming to the end of his career. He's got that big show that he's wrapping up his career with out in Nashville. And George Strait, Los, has been added to the show. That's how big.
That's a big show.
Dude. Everybody in country music is going to be a part of Alan Jackson's last show in Nashville, and the most recent announcement was King George Strait. Ain't no way I'm going to get to that show. Like, I can't imagine what it's like. It'd be like trying to get a Super Bowl ticket or something. It's
Where's that?
Kind in Nashville.
Well, like
Bridgestone.
Is it Bridgestone?
Yeah. So I almost positive. I'll double check that. Almost positive that it is Bridgestone. But God, what a great show it would be. I mean, everybody's there. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. It is election day. Get out and go pull the lever for whoever you have connected with. We're going to get Ted Cruz coming on at 8:25 to talk about the election in a little bit. But there are people that you need to thank for your free speech, and that's the first thing you need to know this morning.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Xtra, Tug Los, deep in the story, breaking news that's bold.
It all starts very slowly. And then when the authoritarians get a taste for it, well, then it really takes off.
They come back for more.
We saw this in 2020, 2021 when it came to X and what was going on, and it facilitated eventually the purchase of it by Elon Musk. But I wanted to start by bringing up what came out of the UK as of 24 hours ago, where Keir Starmer, in the interest of taking care of the kids, we're taking care of the kids. We're going to make sure that when it comes to social media use, no one under the age of 16 can do it because the parents have been asking for it. And look what it does to these children, and it's awful.
Why wouldn't the parents just say no?
Well, that would seem like just personal responsibility, wouldn't it?
I mean, socialists can't have that.
Now, nothing is going to happen to the kids if they happen to violate the rules in order to get access to YouTube, X, handful of others as well. But the overarching start of this is facial recognition software.
Oh wow.
Facial recognition software or credit card or ID in order to make sure that you are who you say you are. You're of age in order to use the stuff. By the way, Blue Sky doesn't show up on any of this.
Yeah, that's the one that escapes it. You don't have to be...
doesn't seem to be part of that one.
That's right.
But yes, every other social media. And what this links back to is what's gone on in the UK. Even a year ago, we had this story UK free speech crackdown sees up to 30 people a day arrested for petty offenses such as retweets and cartoons. This isn't just about free speech there. It's about free thought. And the goal ends up being thought suppression. If we make it illegal, if we make it to where you don't have access to this, how much can we control what you think?
Well, that, and how do we connect you? That way we know exactly who you are, where you are, what you're into, what you buy. We have access to every piece of information because we've got your credit card, we've got your ID, you got all the. There's so many layers to this.
Because there's so many games. If you can keep people from speaking, and people are like, well, if you keep them from speaking out, well, then you control them. No, because they can still have those thoughts. The next step is, how do you keep them from thinking this stuff? And that's what the UK is really messing with as of now. And they're now starting to see if they can get it earlier. What I give credit to ultimately is what has gone on with Donald Trump and with Elon Musk. And a lot of this is because of Elon buying X and the Trump victory. We talk about the stuff that you can in Trump's America. That was our joke for the better part of like the first year or so. Hey, that girl's hot. Well, you can't say that. In Trump's America, I can.
We're back.
We're back. By the way, did you notice something during UFC Freedom 250 as far as one of the advertisers? There was an official beer of the UFC.
Was it Bud Light?
Ding, ding, ding. Says, what are we doing? We're putting money back into men's stuff.
Right.
It used to be Modelo. They ended up jumping forward and bought the rights to it. So in Trump's America, it's like you can have people have a sporting event on the White House lawn. And it's not a man with breasts, okay? In Trump's America, it's actually two championship fighters that decided we're going to settle this thing out here in the octagon. All right, like this is the whole idea of what happens when we get away from all of this nonsense. And so I also wanted to play this. This is Dave Portnoy. Now, he's owner, operator, CEO of Barstool. And he took what came out of UFC Freedom 250, and he took issue with it.
There was one moment I do think Trump has to denounce, and anybody associated with it has to denounce, and that's that crazy fighter guy. I don't even have his name up here, but he won the fight. He took the microphone, and he made a derogatory comment about Michelle Obama. To me, that on the White House lawn. Now, these are UFC guys, all right? They're crazy. They're idiots. You have Sean Strickland, who's one of the craziest people of all time, to the point you can't even pay attention to what he says snuck in. But when you have that on the White House lawn, on an event you put down, I don't care what you think about the Obamas or anything, that has to be an immediate denounce. Like, wrong, doesn't speak for me. I have no problem with the event. I guess you run that risk because these guys are lunatics.
All right, so there's Portnoy. Now, Barstool has built their entire empire off of free speech, off of saying all the things that you can't say, off of saying all the things you shouldn't say. In fact, I've had a friend of mine, she went on Barstool. She said one of the dumbest things in her entire life, and it got her, ruined her life for like 2 or 3 years. And at no point did Barstool run from it. They were just like, well, sorry that the team you work for has a problem with it, but we didn't.
Nazis not too far, though.
At some point, because this is Josh Hokett and calling Michelle Obama a man, the dude, as we told you, was doing a heel turn. He was doing a bit. He came out to Real American. The guy, because of course, these guys are crazy. He's a 28-year-old poli-sci major.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Was any of the fight... Was Hulk Hogan crazy for wrapping himself in the flag as the Real American, and then when it was time to reinvent, it was Hollywood Hogan?
That's right.
Perhaps the most complete opposite.
When he turned heel, too.
Yeah. That's the game.
Brought that up yesterday. Because remember, he filled in his beard. It was black with just black paint.
So
it was a great bit.
Is there nothing that's more free speech than, and by the way, and free thought, which is the important part, than I'm going to play a character. In fact, maybe one of the greatest that we've ever had is when you look at some of the fighters that we've had in the UFC, and when you can run your mouth like that works. That's part of pre-fight.
That's the bit.
That's the bit.
That's the game, yeah.
That's the game. You're playing a character in order to play it, because if you want to control the biggest purses, that's what you have to do. And so I guess I've just found like the last 24, 48 hours since this moment to be very instructionary into who gets this and who doesn't.
And clearly Dave Portnoy doesn't. A guy that
built his empire off offensive language.
Which is the sad part.
I can't even put Barstool on when I've had it in the car, when I used to have satellite, when they would give it to me for free, we'd buy a vehicle. Tried to drive down to Florida with it, with kids in the car, couldn't keep it on.
But this is too far. This is a bridge too far. And that's why I bring up the whole, but calling Trump a Nazi forever, that's not too far. You never spoke out about that. You didn't care about that. That was fine. That's the silliest thing in the history of the world, dude. So ridiculous. And now you even see, and to credit of some of the folks, like let's see, he was talking to Stephen A. Smith. Let me go back and get his name I just want to make sure I get it right. They were talking about how this UFC was better. Jay Williams told Stephen A. Smith UFC 250 was better than the NBA Finals that he had been to. Like, that's how people reacted to it. That's how, how big the event was. And it was because of people like that, the characters that made. Why do you think WWE's so big? It's nothing but characters.
So his name has lost luster over the years just because he's kind of aged out. But when Conor McGregor was doing what he was doing in the UFC, that name sounds familiar to you. He's considered running for different positions in Ireland, and the establishment finds ways to make sure that Conor McGregor can never run. He's got a pretty sketchy past as a fighter as far as the stuff he's been involved in. Conor McGregor, the reason why he got to the point where he could command the money that he could, where he could fight Floyd Mayweather in a fight, was because his mouth and his skills were at top notch. He was a champ. He was a champion in 2 different weight divisions, which has only happened a handful of times when it comes to men in the UFC. It's very difficult to do. And one of his most famous moments was when he got his second belt and he made the point to apologize.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. Let's go.
You want to talk about creating the character.
And
He's talking about, I have got this moment here, and I you know what, I've been a problem to deal with, and I've been a problem with other fighters to deal with, and I'd like to take this chance to apologize.
Absolutely no one.
To absolutely nobody.
Genius.
That's how you build the person. So when you are Josh Hoquett and you're sitting back going, all right, like I'm rising, but how do I then drive this thing home?
Absolutely.
For Portnoy not to get that.
Of all people. Stephen A. Smith got it. Jay Williams got it. Dude, I even got it.
And then the funny response to all of this has been, well, I mean, maybe they should, Michelle Obama and the Obamas should sue the UFC. You know why they won't? It's called discovery.
Uh-oh. That would be dragging them through.
There's no reason to.
They're dragging themselves through some stuff.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
That was what that was a piece of comedy. In the same way that when Joe Rogan talked about the most crazy conspiracy theories a couple years ago, he brought that one up as well. It was for the sake of comedy. In this case, it was for the sake of, I'm heel turning and I'm telling you, this is what's up.
Or Joan Rivers before she died.
She's the one who helped get this ball rolling.
Well, she was asked, do you think we'll ever have a gay president? She's like, we've already had a gay president. What
we already did.
Barack Obama.
Michael and I.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, that doesn't help when that's happened several times.
You know what I've never done when I was talking about my wife?
Called her Larry.
Beat me to it, yes.
You know, Albert and I, we're going
Michael and I.
Dude, I've never made that mistake. I've stumbled and stammered and tripped over lots of words. You know what word I've never tripped over? My wife's name.
That particular use of your wife's name and making it a masculine version? Well,
ever.
Weird.
Michael and I.
I'm telling you, never.
It's for the sake of comedy. And I'm watching it live and I'm laughing going, well, I know that's going to draw a bunch of people off sides tomorrow.
And it did. But just to the Joan Rivers thing, just quickly. I don't think she was being a comedian there. She is a comedian. I don't think she was trying to be funny there.
No, she was throwing it in your face, as in like,
exactly right.
like y'all don't know, I know.
That's exactly what it was. Y'all are being naive. I've seen it in person.
I just like that this is something that I have brought up with my wife maybe like 7 years ago. And to have it play out in the way that it did on Sunday night. And then, again, to see, here is what free speech looks like. The guy...
Yeah, even the stuff you don't like has to be protected.
When you have somebody who's playing a character, for instance, when Shane Gillis does Donald Trump and he says wild stuff, am I thinking somebody should sue him for making Donald Trump look bad?
Of course not.
Like, no, it's in character.
Right.
Like, that dude, he came out in a bandana to I'm a Real American with sunglasses on.
Right.
Okay?
Did you see Shane Gillis said he wasn't a fan of it?
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't. Because
Shane Gillis said he wasn't a fan of what?
The Michelle Obama comment.
He was.
But
who
cares? I don't care what he thinks.
Listen, he's got to play that game too.
Oh, sure. No, I get it, but I don't care.
But if he was on stage, the stage allows you different parameters for what you're allowed to get away with. Yeah. That is part of the presentation. That is part of the art. You don't ask Shane Gillis on the street. You ask him on the stage.
That's right. Because he's going to
play it differently.
That's right. Absolutely right. 100%.
Because as even a guy that we respect like Dave Chappelle will tell you, if I'm in a room with you, this is how I'm going to treat you. It's like if I'm on stage and I'm making trans jokes, it's because they're jokes. It's like if I'm in a room with a trans person, different. But that's the dude was in his office on the stage after he walked out to I'm a Real American. Sunglasses and a red, white, and blue bandana. And then he fired that off. Understand, that was the game, people. But oftentimes on the left, there's no room for comedy and no room for understanding.
We don't laugh. Nobody on the left laughs. It just doesn't happen. They're not allowed to laugh because it's not allowed. That means you're belittling someone, you're hurting someone if you were to laugh, and you can't do that. Comedy doesn't exist on the left, to Lois' point, which is exactly right. When we come back, we are going to be joined by Senator Ted Cruz. He was in Alpharetta yesterday speaking on behalf of Rick Jackson. Why did he make that choice, and what does he have to say about the race? Next on Extra 106.3.
Listen to the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, Neil Bortz, and all your favorite Extra 106.3 personalities whenever you want with the all-new Extra app. It's anytime show replays, all your favorite podcasts, and the latest political news from across Georgia. Download the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
I'm so sick of all these cheesy lawyer billboards. You might be too. If you're injured in a car crash, you don't hire a lawyer because they're sweet or strong or the biggest. You hire a lawyer who is recognized by their peers as one of the top lawyers in the state. You hire a lawyer who's going to listen to you, fight for you, and has the case results to prove it. That lawyer is me, Bruce Hagan, the People's Lawyer. I've been proudly selected by my fellow lawyers as one of the top 100 lawyers in the state for 21 consecutive years as Georgia's super lawyer. Hagan-law.com, Hagan-law.com.
Want to experience the best membership in sports? Join the Atlanta Braves A-List season ticket waitlist. A-List members receive the best seats at the lowest prices and discounts on parking, food, and merchandise. Plus, A-Listers are guaranteed postseason ticket access and enjoy special events featuring players and alumni. So reserve your spot in line by joining the Atlanta Braves A-List memberships waitlist today at braves.com/waitlist. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
If you want a smart new Toyota with a payment that makes sense, it's time for you to take a look at the 2026 Toyota Corolla. Reliable, efficient, and built for long-term value. It's a great fit for daily driving, commuting, and keeping ownership simple. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we're voted Best of Comp for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. It's the thing that Jared and his people pride themselves on, giving you the best deal and the best service. A well-qualified buyer, 6.49% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Corolla through June 30th. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
6.49% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers are qualified. End 6/30/2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, title, and include $699 doc fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could sell funds.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor Inc.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, June 16th, and here are your headlines. A group of San Francisco Giants pitchers are drawing attention after writing Bible verse references on their hats during the team's Pride Night. Pitcher Landon Roop said the message represented his Christian faith in God's covenant, while Major League Baseball has since warned the players that writing on hats violates league rules, though the league did not announce any further discipline. Atlanta hosted its first ever FIFA World Cup match on Monday as Spain took on Cabo Verde at a sold-out Mercedes-Benz Stadium that ended in a 0-0 draw. Economists estimated that the tournament could generate more than $500 million in economic impact for the region, fueled by spending from the out-of-state and international visitors. Officials say the event could also help to attract future business investments to Metro Atlanta. And finally, the Atlanta Preservation Center is raising concerns over plans to move the Olympic Cauldron from its longtime home in Summerhill to Centennial Olympic Park. Preservation advocates argued that the landmark is an important part of the neighborhood's identity dating back to the 1996 Olympic Games. Georgia State University says the move is intended to better celebrate Atlanta's Olympic legacy, where the tower, structure, and Olympic Rings Bridge will remain in Summerhill. Coming up next, Ted Cruz will join Tug and Los right here on the Morning Xtra with Dr. RichMcCormick coming up an hour from now at 9:25. Today's wet weather will return with a high of 73 and a low of 67. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand.
Little holding pattern as we're getting ready to meet up with Ted Cruz here in a moment. They'll be calling in, and so many things to get into him after doing the endorsement for Rick Jackson and making the appearance over in Alpharetta as of yesterday.
I'm curious as to how those come down. Is that something that Rick asked for? Is that something that Ted Cruz approaches him and says, hey, I want to endorse you? Like, how does that come about? I don't understand it. So we'll ask Senator Cruz as he joins us on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be with you.
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure to get to see you speak in Alpharetta yesterday. And it's funny because there seems to be the ability to talk to a crowd in a way that you're leading them to the answer, right? Because you're trying to get them fired up to vote for somebody, and a speech, a different speech like you would give to, I don't know, the Senate or something. How do you set that up? When do you know that those speeches are going to come down the way they do? Like what went into yesterday's speech in Alpharetta?
Look, what I find works is just talk from the heart. Tell people what you think and tell real stories. Like be real with people. It is a valuable thing. I think people can tell when someone is full of BS. People can tell when someone is speaking from the heart. And so I just try to get up. What I said yesterday is I was telling folks, look, here's why I've endorsed Rick Jackson. And my philosophy is that I support the most conservative candidate who can win. And I look at both of those. I want to see someone's record as a conservative, and I want to see a path to victory. And I see both of those in Rick. I think Rick, his life story is extraordinary. You talk about someone who grew up in the projects in Atlanta, incredibly troubled family life, grew up in foster care, but not just foster care, 5 different foster families as a little kid. And he came from very difficult circumstances to build a business that is incredibly successful. It's created thousands of jobs in Georgia, one of the biggest job creators in Georgia. And he's someone who has also given back enormously. He's given millions of dollars to support kids in Georgia, to support foster care, to make a difference in kids' lives. And look, Georgia is a battleground right now. I look at Georgia. I remember, a few years ago, Georgia was bright red. We didn't worry about Georgia in the November election. That's not today. Georgia's purple today. The Democrats are counting on Georgia. They want to win the governorship, and I think Rick is by far the strongest candidate to win. And so what I did yesterday is I just shared that from the heart. I said, listen, this guy is impressive. He's a strong candidate. He's a candidate that will win. And I also made a point. Look, obviously, I serve in the Senate. I care a lot about the Senate, and John Ossoff right now is probably the senator who is most out of step with the voters of his state. Ossoff votes very, very liberal. Georgia is not very, very liberal. But the point I tried to make to folks yesterday is I said, listen, if you want to win that Senate seat, the best way to do it is have a really strong candidate for governor that runs an incredible campaign and turns a bunch of common sense Georgians out to vote. And if we do that, we'll win the governorship, but that's also how you win the Senate seat, too.
Senator Ted Cruz is our guest on the Morning Extra. Sir, I don't hesitate to call you. I believe you're iconic within the conservative movement. And we've actually had the opportunity to spend a couple of hours over the last couple of months with Rick Jackson in studio. And what I would say is, along with you endorsing him, I've talked to a lot of his employees who have great things to say about him.
Yeah.
I think when you take that in total, I think if we're talking about, with the election today, it makes it a lot easier for people to pull that lever for Rick Jackson.
I think that's exactly right. At the event that Rick and I did yesterday, it was interesting. A bunch of folks came up. We did the photo line, took pictures of every person there. And I'd say there were probably a dozen people who came up who said to him, Rick, I've worked for you. And he's got thousands and thousands of employees, so he doesn't know all of his employees. But they came up and said, I've worked for you 20 years. I've worked for you 30 years. And they were they were proud to be there. That says a lot. You look at the man's heart. I mean, he is committed. He's been incredibly successful in business. And I made the point also yesterday. Listen, politics it's an ugly, nasty game. They attack you. They attack your family. People, you almost have to be nuts to do this. And for Rick to do this, he could be out and playing golf every day and, just relaxing and having fun. And he's not doing that because he cares. He's got a heart for Georgia. He's got a heart for the country. But he's also committed with all of his success in business. He's committed that he is giving away the money that he's made and he's making a real difference. He supports a Christian orphanage in China that is the only orphanage that is allowed to share the gospel. I mean, he has supported Christian ministries all over the world. That's a really profound legacy. You can see who someone is, not just by their words, by their actions, and I think his actions demonstrate. As governor, he is committed that he would come in and freeze property taxes in the state of Georgia, and that he will cut the income tax in Georgia in half. And he said, listen, if he doesn't succeed in those two, he will not run for re-election. And I believe him. I don't look, all of us, when candidates run for office, there's a problem that they promise one thing on the campaign trail, they do something else in office. And so as a voter, you don't entirely know. But look, based on his history, his life history and journey, I believe him when he says he's going in to do that. And the beauty of someone running where they're not dependent on a bunch of lobbyists, dependent on a bunch of donors, is that he's got the independence. I have every confidence he will accomplish exactly that. And he's also committed One thing he said yesterday, he wants to make Georgia the worst state in the country to be criminal. If you're a criminal, if you're a violent criminal, if you're a murderer, a rapist, a child molester, he didn't say this, but I'll say this: get the hell out of Georgia. And I got to say, I respect that. I didn't say this yesterday, but I've said it before. Texas and Georgia, we've got a lot in common. We pretty much agree on everything except football, and that's fair. And by the way, I did have several disagreements with folks yesterday about the Dogs versus the Longhorns. That's all right.
Sure. Ted,
I appreciate the sentiment, even if I was not persuaded on that particular.
Listen, we have this problem in my house. I'm a native Texan, went to Longhorn games growing up, and I married a Georgia grad. So I have the same problem as well.
Anyone that cares enough about their team to be cheering them on, I understand them, even if I'm not necessarily persuaded about their particular team.
I want to bring up something. Senator Cruz is our guest this morning on the Morning Xtra, spoke yesterday in Alpharetta on behalf of Rick Jackson. Shortly after y'all were done in Alpharetta, there was a tweet posted by Donald Trump Jr., and it said, regardless of what happens in Georgia's race tomorrow, we should be celebrating the Patriots, building up America first. He talked about China threatening the amoxicillin supply and Rick saving that manufacturing facility. He talked about oil refining shortages and banks that wouldn't finance a new one. A woke bank wouldn't finance. Rick stepped in. He had lots of compliments about Rick Jackson. Why do you suppose that he posted that? Because it got a lot of attention yesterday.
Yeah, look, that's a big deal, and I'll confess, as we were getting ready to head out on stage, we knew that Don Jr. Was going to put something out, and we actually had discussed if the timing if it had been approved a half hour early. I was going to get the opportunity to actually announce it on stage, which would have been fun. We knew it was coming, and the campaign said, "Hey, are you willing to announce it?" I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to." And it ended up being approved right after the event was done, so I didn't get to announce it, but we knew it was coming. Look, that's a big deal, and I'll say, Rick's opponent, Burt Jones, I don't know him. From everything I know, he's a good man. I've got nothing negative to say about him. Obviously, the president endorsed him, but he endorsed him before Rick was in the race, and that speaks a lot of volumes. And the president, look, I talk to the president every week, sometimes every day. I was with the president Sunday at his birthday at the White House for the UFC fight, which, by the way, guys, was surreal and unbelievable. But look, the president made the endorsement before Rick Jackson was in the race, and the president likes and respects Rick. And I think, I don't know this, but I think Don Jr. saying this was a way to express that. And that's also why I was down in Georgia. Look, the president and I agree on virtually every endorsement. It is unusual where he and I part ways. And I think some of the difference is that I had the opportunity to make the decision late in the race. And I typically get involved in a political campaign late. I try to do it just before Election Day at a time where I hope my support can make a difference and help the strongest candidate, the strongest conservative who could win, go over the finish line. And so my personal interpretation of Don Jr.'s statement is that was expressing, hey, look, this is a really good guy. What the tweet ends with that Don Jr. put out. He said, this has been a hard-fought race with a lot of mudslinging, but I know Rick Jackson to be a good man, and that counts for a lot. And listen, Don Jr. is a friend of mine as well. I appreciate his saying that because it obviously is his own view, but it communicates a lot more than that.
Senator Ted Cruz is our guest right here on the Morning Xtra. If Rick Jackson's able to take care of business today, I believe that the left, and most notably Keisha Lance Bottoms, we've seen the game plan here. It's the vilification of success and wealth. And I believe if that's the way you plan on attacking Rick Jackson in this state, I think he's going to be the next governor of Georgia, assuming he wins today.
Look, I think that's exactly right. And I'll say this is an interesting week for that. As you guys know, I do a podcast every week. It's called Verdict with Ted Cruz. We do it 3 days a week. We've got millions of listeners all over the country that listen. Monday's podcast was yesterday's podcast was entirely on Elon Musk and the SpaceX IPO, where Elon is now the first trillionaire in world history. And I know Elon really well. I think he's the Thomas Edison of today. He's the Henry Ford of today. He's an incredible entrepreneur. But a lot of what I talked about in the podcast is how the left is losing their minds. I mean, they are certifiably unhinged about Elon's success. And I played all sorts of excerpts and different quotes. Bernie Sanders saying this shall not stand and committing they hate the success Elon has had. And I made the point, look, this is the basic difference between people who believe in free enterprise and socialists and Marxists. They are filled with envy. They hate people who are successful, and they want to destroy them. And that there's the contrast between those two is powerful. Now, look, I think that's equally true in the Georgia gubernatorial race. Rick Jackson, nobody gave him anything. This is a kid from foster care. This is a kid from the projects who had every disadvantage you could imagine and worked hard and built incredibly successful businesses. And the point I made about Elon on the podcast, you know how he made a ton of money? Well, for one thing, he built Tesla and he sold cars people like. It's not like he forces anyone to buy their cars. Like you look at a Tesla, they're beautiful. The inside, the designing is sleek and beautiful. They do 0 to 60 in like 2.9 seconds, which is crazy. And a whole bunch of people like it. That's how you build a company: is you create a product that people like, you create a service that people like, and they make the decision, gosh, I'd really like one of those. Likewise, why did he become a trillionaire last week? Because millions of people all across the country said, you know what, I want to own some stock in SpaceX. And they made a choice. And by the way, he became a trillionaire by making a ton of other people rich, 4,400 new millionaires because of the SpaceX IPO. I think the same thing is true about Rick. And the left cannot stand, their message. If you're struggling, if you're low income, here's the left's message. Your life will never change. You're stuck. And so you should be dependent on government. We're going to send you a check every month, and you be dependent on us. And here's the basic exchange. We'll give you some money every month. Not much, just enough to eke by. But you got to vote for Democrats for the rest of your life. Keep us in power, and we will keep you in poverty and dependence. And Rick's message is exactly the opposite, which is no matter how hard your circumstances, in America, you can succeed. Your hopes matter. Your dreams matter. You can build anything you set your mind to. That is a powerful message. That's really the heart of who we are as Americans. And you guys are exactly right. The left cannot stand that.
And to your point, as we wrap up with Senator Cruz, there's the example of the welder that made $28 an hour that is now a millionaire because of Elon Musk.
That is exactly right. And I saw that, as I said, playing out yesterday at the rally for Rick, as employee after employee. And we're not talking like, fancy senior executives. We're talking, secretaries. There's one woman who's a registered nurse who came up and hugged Rick. And she didn't know him, but she thanked him for everything he's doing. And look, you see how people react to someone, and that conveys a lot. Let me say to the people of Georgia, today is Election Day. It's a runoff. It's an unusual time. Turnout matters. If you want, number one, a strong conservative that will cut taxes dramatically, that will freeze property taxes, that will cut your income taxes in half, come out today and vote for Rick Jackson. And equally important, if you want to win, you don't want to wake up and find Georgia as a blue state. If you don't want to see a Gavin Newsom running Georgia, if you don't want to see a Zohran Mamdani running Georgia, get out and vote today, because Rick is the candidate who will win in November, and winning matters. And by the way, when you're voting for Rick, I also think you're taking a real step to say, if you don't want to see Chuck Schumer leading the Senate, if you don't want to see the Senate just attacking President Trump day after day after day, if you don't want to see constant impeachment trials and just obstruction day after day after day, vote for Rick Jackson for governor, because he's going to run a campaign that is going to invest millions of dollars, invest time and energy, and have an inspirational message. That is how you win both the governorship and the Senate seat, how you prevent Chuck Schumer from leading the Senate. And so I would just encourage everyone to come out and vote for Rick Jackson today for governor.
Ted Cruz, our guest on the Morning Extra, we appreciate your time this morning. It means a lot that you take enough interest in Georgia and what's happening here, and I know our listeners do too. Thank you, Senator Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. God bless.
Yes, sir. God bless you too. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. So much to talk about there, because the guys.
There's a lot.
So much.
Again, I love hearing him just break stuff down. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
We'll talk about it next on Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, June 16th. The Atlanta Braves are back at Truist Park to open up a homestand that begins with a visit from the San Francisco Giants. A 3-game series begins this evening. It'll be Grant Holmes on the mound. He'll be opposed by Adrian Hauser. First pitch is set for 7:15 tonight. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. On the injury front, catcher Drake Baldwin returns to the lineup tonight. He's missed several weeks with an oblique strain. As for starting pitcher Spencer Strider, he's been shut down for a month in order to deal with elbow and shoulder soreness. From college football, the Brendan Sorsby issue has been settled. He plans to enter into the NFL supplemental draft. Sorsby was originally ruled ineligible by the NCAA for betting on his own games. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. Hey, this is Los with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Don't believe this nonsense you see on TV commercials about how uncomfortable a CPAP mask is. Take it from me. You wear one, especially the nasal pillow I use, for one night, and you will fight anybody that tries to take it away from you. But if they do take it away from you, you can get more at cpapsetcetera.com, cpapsetc.com, with a store in Alpharetta, same-day shipping. To your health, cpapsetc.com.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turfco. We're a family-owned and operated independent local company here in the Atlanta area. We've been in business for over 15 years. We install several different types of artificial grass. One is landscape, which looks like real grass for your lawn. The next one is pet turf. Pet turf is a little bit shorter than landscape, and it's more durable. And the other one is putting greens. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Bert knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Bert has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Bert on Tuesday.
And here's President Trump, also endorsing Bert Jones for governor.
Bert Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win. Bert Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Bert Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Bert Jones for Georgia.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
I note that Buckhead, where I used to live, is starting to hire off-duty policemen to patrol their streets and their commercial centers. To me, that indicates that they don't think the Atlanta Police Department is getting the job done.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. If you just tuning in, you missed Senator Ted Cruz, who spoke in Alpharetta yesterday on behalf of Rick Jackson. He came on this morning to nail down that message again, the reason he thinks you should pull the lever for Rick Jackson today. Anything that you took away, anything that stood out to you, Los?
First off, I've loved listening to Ted Cruz as an orator since he got to the Senate. And remember, he was one of the guys that rode in with the Tea Party. And that was what ushered in Ted Cruz out of the state of Texas. And that dude has, in my opinion, when it comes to his conservative ideals, those have never changed. In fact, he's just more abrasive with them.
Yeah, he does not hold back.
He will just tell you this is what we're doing. And so, yeah, we talked about, to open up the show, and it's been throughout, the importance of the endorsements. And Burt Jones having Brian Kemp and having Donald Trump, to then have Don Jr. talking about what Rick Jackson has meant to this country, to have Ted Cruz also doing the same thing. Ted Cruz, I don't think I was being bombastic by saying you're a conservative icon in this country at this point. Like, there's a reason why we joke around about, hey, what if Ted Cruz found his way onto the Supreme Court? We're like, there's a solid conservative for the next 30 years.
That's exactly right. And that would shock.
So it matters.
That would shock no one. If that were to be the path for him, I don't think that would be shocking to anybody. And I think we would be very, very fortunate to have a guy like Ted Cruz. I'm always impressed with him. I'm always moved and motivated. Like, he has the ability to speak to you where you're like, okay, I've got to act on what he says. It's like a good motivating coach. You know, like a Kirby Smart or a Nick Saban or whomever, you fill in the blank, whoever would motivate you. He's that way for conservative voters.
Well, we try and talk about one of the hallmarks of being conservative is common sense. And what he's bringing up it's common sense. It's not voodoo. It's just here's what's happening in the country. Here's why this makes sense. Here's the reason why, and I think it was important because we brought up the betting markets earlier. And Cauchy is the one that I think has been up to date the most. There's other really good ones out there, but that's just the one that I was taking a look at this morning. Cauchy now has the Republicans winning the governorship of Georgia moving forward. And I think that's important that it doesn't have a distinction.
It's just the
between any candidate.
Yeah.
And to hear then somebody like Ted Cruz talking about, listen, if Rick Jackson is your guy, he's going to win in November. And I've said the same thing about both candidates, but it's interesting to hear a guy like Ted Cruz with his reputation willing to put it out there with an endorsement. Because let's face it, a lot of people don't want to endorse somebody and then have them miss out.
I expect whoever wins, today, the other will relatively quickly turn around and endorse the other. I expect that to happen. And maybe I'll be wrong about that, but I think they know how important the state of Georgia is and how important it is not to have someone like Keisha Lance Bottoms, of all people, to be the governor of Georgia. Not that I think she's going to win, and the betting markets have it that way too. But I do believe that they'll let down their guard a little bit and they'll endorse. Do you think? What do you think about that? Because there's been a lot of mudslinging, and there are a lot of hurt feelings, and I know that to be the truth. However, I think they will cut through that because it's best for the state.
In politics, the amount of money, when it moves into the mudslinging realm, I think that's where it's a lot harder to imagine just a, hey, best of my opponent. It's one thing if you spend a lot of money because you're talking about yourself the whole time. We have gotten into an area with both candidates where they are talking about, I mean, we talked about Chinese vapes when we were joking around.
Yeah.
You know, it sounded Burt Jones selling all the kids Chinese vapes. You're like,
and then the
for illegal Chinese vapes.
I'm doing what? At the same time, it's, hey, Rick Jackson, listen, all he's hiring is illegals. You're like, what? Yeah.
But I'll go back to Don Jr. That's the reason I think that will be it'll be the case. I almost feel like,
I do think there's support within the Trump administration for both. I just think that the endorsement and the loyalty is always going to be there because Burt has been there longer and has taken the slings and arrows as the Trump guy.
Bryce had a good question. If Donald Trump could go back and do it, would he do it the same way? And I think that's a fascinating question because he endorsed Burt, if you recall, for lieutenant governor and then early on for governor. I don't know that he would change his vote, but I would love to know the inner workings because there's a reason that Don Jr. did what he did. He came out very shortly after and said, this is not an endorsement. This is just, and it's been mudslinging on both sides. It's been a tough fight. Both will be good for Georgia. There's a reason that would happen. I don't think he would change his endorsement, but I do believe that they are going to be, like you're saying, embraced whomever wins.
The Trump is not difficult to understand. This is why whenever the left doesn't get it, I'm like, how do you not get this? This is not difficult to understand. Trump, it's loyalty above all. And the loyalty is reciprocated. Now, you can have a difference of opinion with him. You can, as we've seen this before. We've seen this plenty of times. You can have a difference of opinion with Donald Trump. It's just a matter of, are we keeping this behind closed doors or are you making it public? Because once you turn it into a lack of loyalty, like you and I, we can have a discussion, have a complete difference of opinion, but as long as there's mutual respect, I'm like, hey, we have a difference of opinion, but it's fine.
Good. All good.
You know, it's all good. It's like, hey, we just see things a little differently. Donald Trump thrives on loyalty reciprocated back and forth. And because Burt Jones showed it for so long and never changed.
Yeah, never wavered.
When everyone else was talking about, no, Donald Trump lost over here. Burt's like.
And dude, everybody down under that gold dome flopped.
Yeah.
Every one of them, with the exception of Burt.
That is why that loyalty is reciprocated.
I think so.
That's why there's no way. Now, if Rick Jackson wins today, I firmly believe you'll have the Trump administration speaking about him in glowing terms in an instant.
And endorsing him, obviously.
Obviously.
It'll happen immediately.
Yes.
I agree.
But I was bringing this up to start the show, and it'll run throughout. There is not a radioactive issue for either one of these men that would keep me from not voting for either one of these men.
That's right. I agree with that.
And that is after
100%.
spending hours with them and talking with them off the air. They have similar ideas. They have different ideas on how to get there. That's the implementation of it. But there's not one thing where I've said, I wouldn't consider voting for Burt. In the same way, I'm like, I wouldn't consider voting for Rick Jackson. There's not one issue. It's different in other states where we'll be like, oh, that's a bad scenario. I would never vote for that guy. I think that's the reason why the betting markets are responding the way they are for this race. And I know that it sounds like I'm got feet in both camp, but it's from meeting both of them.
No, that's right. I think that is actually the most common sense way of looking at it. Ted Cruz alluded to it. Don Jr. has alluded to it. You're not on the wrong track with that. I think that's what everybody sees.
It's what we've been talking about for weeks around here.
Live Kalshi odds, Burt Jones 71%, Rick Jackson 29%.
That has been the biggest deal because of those two endorsements.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're gigantic.
But again, what was I saying about the turnout issue? Based on the previous month, last month when we had the previous election and there was 900,000, they're looking now at 700,000. And so it's a turnout election for both of these guys. That's and Couchy's based off of, well, they'll have the same votes. Now more people will come over. The game changed. Suddenly we're not playing 27 outs. We're playing like 21. It's different.
When we come back, a leftist tells his comrades, stop blasting the very popular UFC fight at the White House.
time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
The Queen and I spent most of yesterday driving across deserts in the Bortz bus, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. So I haven't had a chance to read any of the fine print about this supposed deal that Donald Trump has with Iran. But from what I do know, I'm out on a limb calling the whole thing BS. I hope that I am proven wrong. In a nutshell, Trump launched a military action against Iran and obliterated most of their military capabilities. Now comes this agreement. Trump says that the Straits of Hormuz will be opened. Iran and Oman say not so fast. We still get to collect fees. Fees instead of tolls. Yeah, okay. About the nuclear weapons and the enriched uranium, that can is being kicked down the road for 6 months. In other words, nothing there. Listen, folks, Iran has made it clear, and it is in the Islamic playbook. It is okay to lie, to deceive your enemies. Tell them anything, just don't tell them the truth. And that's what Iran and Oman are doing with Donald Trump right now. Iran will use this 6 months to beef up their nuclear program. They will never, ever voluntarily get rid of it. And they're also going to continue using the Straits of Hormuz as a cash cow. So what has Trump accomplished? Other than destroying much of Iran's military capability, I don't think he's done anything. You all go ahead and celebrate, wave those flags, put on those MAGA hats. But in 6 months from now, and that'll come pretty quick, you realize what a mess this is and continues to be. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, Extra 106.3 FM.
They plotted an attack, but the FBI thwarted it. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The target, the UFC Freedom 250 event Sunday night on the White House lawn, and Vice President Vance was there.
I actually just heard about it this morning myself, and so this is very, very dark stuff.
And Vance just told Fox.
I hate to say this, but it's true. You see more political violence and violent rhetoric coming from the left than the right these days. Everybody has a role to cut this stuff out.
5 people are in custody in the plot targeting the UFC event the FBI disrupted.
Other suspects allegedly traveled to Fredericksburg, Virginia to make final preparations for a multi-stage attack. A review of one suspect's iPhone showed at least 23 Signal users had been a part of the planning process.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. Back to the vice president. He's planning to be in Geneva Friday to formalize the deal with Iran that fully opens the Strait of Hormuz for shipping while nuclear negotiations continue.
No matter what happens, Iran's nuclear program has been destroyed. They have no enrichment capacity.
President Trump's also talking about the Iran deal at the G7 summit in France. He just said,
I'll probably have a press conference and read it to you word by word, so that the press covers it accurately.
Insisting it's a far better deal with no money for Iran, unlike the 2015 Obama-era nuclear agreement that he pulled the U.S. out of in the first Trump administration.
That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Mine is a wall against a nuclear weapon.
It is primary day or runoff day in 3 states.
In the Alabama Senate primary runoff, President Trump has backed Congressman Barry Moore over retired Navy SEAL Jared Hudson. In the Georgia runoff, President Trump's backed Congressman Mike Collins to challenge Senator John Ossoff in November, while outgoing Governor Brian Kemp has backed former University of Tennessee football coach Derek Dooley.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. There are also primaries for an open Senate seat in Oklahoma and a race for mayor in Washington, D.C. and in California, a contest to fill a House seat vacated when Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell resigned. America's listening to Fox News.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Lord, it's a good day when you get some Alabama. And mountain music, song I grew up on, song I love, that I listen to weekly, still to this very day.
Oh, play me some mountain music.
And fortunately, Alabama has never run into any of our comedy like Brooks and Dunn has.
No, they haven't.
Well, I don't know if Alabama will respond to it very well either.
No, they probably get the feels hurt a little bit. I do believe that. You know, they kicked one of their members out of the band. You know, they kicked the drummer out about 10 years ago. When they all got back together, they're like, you know what? The drummer's never really part of this.
We've been waiting to do this for years.
Dude, you say that in jest? I think that's the truth.
Still remember when Van Halen came back together with David Lee Roth, and that lasted like a week, and they're like, no wonder we did this. Get out of here.
My memory has been refreshed on how difficult David Lee Roth is. Is he a talent? Yes, he's a talent. Is he nuts? Yes, he's nuts. He's hard to deal with. He's hard to be around. I understand why they deal with it.
Meanwhile, Sammy Hagar's like, well, fine, I'll go do chicken foot.
That's right. Absolutely. Which is cool, too. So cool. But he was like, yeah, I'm done with all this.
I'm going to sell tequila and chicken foot.
Supposed to go see Alabama down in Tallahassee right before COVID.
You were?
Yeah, my sister worked down at Florida State, and she got us all tickets. We were supposed to go down there, but then COVID happened.
And then it canceled the show? Oh, man, that sucks.
Well, it shouldn't have.
Yeah, right. It shouldn't have, although it did.
Because then, before you knew it, people were protesting in the streets, and you're like, why couldn't I see Alabama?
Yeah.
But some drug dealer dies on the streets of Minneapolis having an overdose, and now
I can't go to
Alabama.
Alabama.
Now I can't go see Alabama. You realize when I break it down like that, that's the sort of thing that makes my liberal friends kind of cringe a little bit.
I got told to go to hell off of that. That's what the colors.
Yeah.
Someone called in and said, we were talking about it one day, and I was like, y'all are going to all go to hell.
Oh, wow.
Okay, good.
Wow.
But you first.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I speak with honesty.
That's right. And the crazy thing
is... Am I lying? The autopsy says so.
No, you're not. But the crazy thing is, they don't realize that they're not. They've been told by every media outlet in the world that that's what happened.
He had an overdose on the street.
But they don't know that, dude.
And meanwhile, you couldn't go watch Alabama, but they could get together and burn stuff down. Yeah.
Ask Keisha Lance Bottoms. She knew.
Those were mostly peaceful.
No, that's what I hear.
Yes, mostly peaceful protests.
With the fire in the background.
Yeah, exactly. It was absurd.
I mean, you were looking for some mountain music, and they were sitting there trying to firebomb, a police station in Nashville.
And
burn down the Wendy's here in Atlanta.
All while it looked like a war zone behind them. And they went on the news with a straight face at night and said, it's mostly peaceful. That's not what I describe as peaceful. I've seen peaceful protests.
I was already living in a surreal world. At that point, I pretty much was like,
it's fitting.
I know how nutty you people are.
Yeah, it's crazy that it happened that way. It sucks you can see Alabama because they're really, really good. I love Alabama music and listen to them
in Trump's America, you can watch them when you want to if they ever decide to go out there again.
Yeah, they do shows from here. They actually did a show over at Jacksonville State University in Alabama.
Hold on, we're going to boo Just Show Up?
No, I'm booing Jacksonville State.
Yeah, that's Just Show Up University.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Tell me about Just Show Up.
It's supposed to be like 12 and a half grade. That's just what I hear.
Like Dalton State College. That's what I used to call Dalton State. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to UGA and wasn't able to.
But Jacksonville State Just Show Up.
Oh, you're talking about the initials. Got it. Got it.
Okay.
All right. Very clever.
I got to spell out all these jokes these days.
Come on.
We're not the brightest here. Okay?
I've told you I'm not the smartest guy in the room.
I'll tell you what, you go find our friend Chuck Oliver. You go, hey, what's the nickname for Jacksonville State University in Alabama?
Just Show Up.
Just Show Up.
I love it. I used to call Dalton State College because I didn't want to go there. And it is a really good school. They got a great nursing and medical program that one of the best in the state. But I didn't want to go there. It felt like Southeast Whitfield High School, grade 13.
The fact is they tried to make you some sort of medical practitioner, and you said, no, sir.
I'll have none of it. I'll go off and join the Navy.
I will not do that. They were like, can we call you graduate? And you're like, nope.
I'll have none of it.
And they tried 3 times.
That's right. And I dropped out. They were like, goodness, every time we try to get this dude doing good, trending in the right direction, he doesn't show up anymore.
Can I ask you, this is a little bit of a personal question, but there's nobody listening possibly. Why would they know this?
Yeah.
When was the moment that, were you like sitting in a random class each time and you just knew?
No, well, the first time, yes.
Okay.
So first time, went a semester, failed English, made like 100 in history because it was my favorite subject. Sure. They had me in remedial math. It was bad, dude. Yeah. It was bad.
And in your mind, you're going,
I'm going to go join the Navy. That's what I'm going to do. I remember sitting there thinking it and did.
What about the next time? Because again, and I'll tell you this, and this is just from my perspective. Me as a student, as a grad student, was significantly different than me as an undergrad, because now that I'm paying for it out of pocket, there is no scholarship money, there's no mom and dad, there's no baseball. I was much more attentive the next time around.
To your point, mom and daddy opened up a credit for my first semester. They didn't have the money. They opened up a new credit card and paid for it. And I was sitting there in class going, they can't afford this. I'm not doing well. There's something, I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't want to be here. So there's lots of circumstances of why. I just knew it wasn't right, and I didn't want to do that to my mom and daddy.
I just wanted to know, when they say that alcoholics have a moment of clarity.
That was the moment of clarity.
If you remembered your
Yeah. I just think it's because I'm a dumbass. And it was partially that,
You're
too.
like, you know what I need to do? I need to get out to sea.
That's right. Come on. I hear the beach is really nice. I'm going to go there and be there every day.
I want to feel the ocean breeze.
That's right. And yeah. But it was the best decision I ever made. I've said that a million times, too. Now, fast forward, second time I dropped out, it was because I got a promotion.
Okay. That's what I was curious about.
And then the third time, because we moved here and I took the job down here. So the second 2 times I was paying for.
That's why I was curious how much better. I'm just saying, like, you didn't leave because you weren't doing well so much as, hey, life took me in a different direction.
Exactly right. I like to joke about it, though. It's funner to say you dropped out. It's funner. It's more fun.
I'm a 3-time college dropout.
We should do a little mini-series, Tug Goes to College.
Yeah. Dude, I'd be horrified.
Dude, what if could you contact Dalton State and get your transcript?
Probably. I would imagine, yeah.
That would be so much fun to review.
Dude, he passed remedial math. He failed because of 2 comma splices. I know exactly what they are. He failed English with 2 comma splices on my final. Because I did okay in the class, but they told it, when you write your final term paper in English, if you have a comma splice, you're going to fail. Or if you have 2, you're going to fail. And guess who had 2?
I would love to do a 30 for 30 on this.
I'll reach out to them. Absolutely.
Documentary series on Tug's time at Dalton State. It's like, well.
Yeah.
What was y'all's mascot?
The Roadrunner.
The Roadrunner, man.
Come on, 2-time.
Tug can outrun the Roadrunner.
No, not a chance. Tug ain't outrunning anybody. Dude, it's huffing and puffing going down the stairs. No, they won 2 NAI national championships. One well before I got there, and then one in the last probably 5, 6, 7 years. Dude, good little program. And they want to add baseball. There's so much good baseball up there. They want to add baseball. They've not done it yet. I don't know if they ever will. But transcripts, we got to do that because it would be fun and funny.
I wonder if you can. Like, I'm going to look and see if you can.
What are you doing online?
Not there. No, I'm going to look into my own just to see, out of curiosity, of like, are you able to just get a transcript request?
Hey, they call you the smart one. Your transcript's going to be great. Mine are going to look like I came out of a trailer park because I did.
Oh, $10 each. Okay, I'm going to do this.
Kimmer calls him the smart one. Dude, I'm losing this. This is going to be terrible and fun.
But you'll also find, and I don't know if it's still in the system or anything else, you will find the moment when I said, this computer science really isn't for me. Because I started a coding class, and I think I made it about a month or 2, and the eureka moment was, I hate this.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can't stand coding. Like, I can't imagine sitting somewhere and coding for a living. And that's when I was like, I got to get out.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm curious if that's in the transcript.
Dude, coding sounds hard. I I don't believe
It's a lot of if-then statements.
Yeah, I don't believe I'd be any good at that. Although I did take a, I forget what it was, but you had to learn binary code. They were making us put together cables, so it was my third stint at Dog State College.
Putting together cables?
Well, the Cat 5 cable.
Oh, okay.
Like you had to be able to, build one, and it worked, show that it worked. That was part of it. You had to understand binary code, and, they tested you on all that. And,
that's too smart for me.
No, it wasn't. Dude, if I could do it, anybody could do it. And I did okay with it, but then my wife took the job here. I was over at 101.5, and we moved down here, so I left school again at that point. But, yeah.
What was your major? Was it the same major each time?
Well, no. So the first time, I didn't know. It was just
undeclared?
Yeah, undeclared. And I was only there a semester and then left. So when does fall semester end? Is it like October?
December. Early December, late November.
Yeah. Okay, so it had to be late November because I joined the Navy on November 20th and then left for Navy boot camp on December 20th, a month later, 5 days before Christmas, right after that semester was done. As I said, knowing that my parents couldn't afford what they were doing, and I wasn't taking it serious. There's a little bit of that.
Was there a little party tug in there?
Not too much, to be honest. It wasn't until I got to Navy, and then, boy, howdy. Let me tell you, those sailors know what to do.
Well.
And they teach you quick.
They get into port and they get wild.
Dude, it is off the rails. I told you the first port visit was the house of ill repute.
There's a reason why it's a long time away sailor.
Yeah, that's right. And the fact that some of them knew, the sailors by name. They're like, oh, welcome back, Terry. You're like, good heavens. What? And me being naive, growing up in church, being a little naive, I remember sitting there in the Black Angus in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Angus.
No, Angus. I remember sitting there, and there would be people that would just disappear for like 30 minutes. Like, where'd so-and-so go? Oh, he'll be right back, I think, with the bathroom. Or whatever. And like, it happened over and over, and I was like, wait a minute. Everybody ain't going to the bathroom for 30 minutes. Oh, my God. I know where I am. How am I going to tell my mama?
Oh, man, it's on now.
But, dude, it was my first ever port visit. First ever. So the first time I end up in a house of ill repute, which wasn't a house necessarily, it was a restaurant with a hotel attached to it or something. I can't remember how it all went, but it was one of those things where I don't know how I'm going to tell my mom.
Was there a sign they gave it away? Or
yeah, the people disappeared for 30 minutes.
No, I'm saying like a sign on the building.
No.
Whenever you walked in, you had no idea.
I thought we're going to a steakhouse. I thought we're going... I really did. They're like, man, you're going to love this place. And I kept thinking, man, I'm going to get the biggest steak. This is going to be amazing. I was so excited and got there and it wasn't nothing but like weird bar food. I was like, hang on. Where are we?
Mind if I throw something in here for you?
Yeah, please do.
So Stephanie decided to join the show as about 5 minutes ago, and she wanted to ask you if you went to Don't Show University. Don't Show College.
Yes, I did.
Dalton State.
And I stopped showing up 3 times. Yes, Stephanie.
And he doesn't have the degree to prove it.
That's exactly right. But when I get those transcripts, we're going to have a ball with this. Dude, it's going to be so much fun.
I found a way to order
okay, well, I got to do it too.
$10.
I got to do it too. Holy cow. That's so awesome.
I think they're unofficial, so it's kind of funny.
Don't Show College.
Don't Show.
Yeah. What do you mean they're unofficial?
Well, so it lists on the automatic system that you can order official transcripts versus unofficial. Now, the official transcripts, I think they come secured, so you can't, look at them.
Oh, got it.
Whereas unofficial, I believe, are just PDFs.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, because the official ones, like you said, you got to send to colleges and when you transfer and all that.
Yeah, I haven't sent a transcript to anybody in like 30 years.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
I've never sent a transcript to anybody. Can you imagine sending that?
You didn't send it to the Department of the Navy, like, son, we're going to need to see some clarification on what you're doing here.
I don't know how I did well on the ASVAB, to be honest with you. Because I did pretty well on that test, and I'm not a great test taker or all that smart for that matter.
Yeah, but if it's Navy, was it like Navy questions?
Well, no, the ASVAB is for the entire military.
Okay.
So if you're going into any branch, you have to take the ASVAB test. And, so I did okay. I mean, I landed a relatively decent job in the Navy and did well. They gave me a security clearance. I mean, I wouldn't have.
Pretty legitimate. They're like, okay, now that he's done this, let's let him handle sensitive materials.
So when you're done scrubbing the toilet, go up there and tell the captain, but whisper it in his ear because this is really, really sensitive information.
Sorry, the toilets are clean.
And
as if it was some code word to get his document to run over to the captain.
That's right.
You go let him know the toilets are clean, but you say toilets are clean, sir, and then he's going to give you the information.
That's right. And you'll carry it back, and you'll hand it off to an important person, and then you go clean them other toilets. That's true. You don't know how close.
And you're just nodding like you're the James Bond of toilets and running around the ship.
And then they would come, dude, they inspect too every day. It was crazy. My grandpa used to make fun of, Pop Cowher, he used to make fun a little bit because I remember him telling me about, he was at Army medic stationed on a Navy ship in the Pacific during World War II. And he was like, the only thing I can't figure out about the Navy is they have these uniform inspections every morning on board the ship. We're in the middle of a war. They're inspecting creases on shirts and pants. Who does that? I remember him poking fun, and sure, he was not wrong. I get on that ship, and every day, boy, if that toilet wasn't cleaned or if I didn't get the seat just right, it was a bad day.
I wasn't sure if it was ever going to work for the radio, and so I don't believe I sent this over to any of the guys. I just sent it over to Bryce now. So one of the people that was posting for when it came to the World Cup was a Frenchman who had been through our country, most notably Buc-ee's and the restrooms.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how clean the toilets were.
That's a Navy sailor.
And I was like, that's
sailor.
Somebody who's seen some stuff.
That's right. And you're not afraid to tackle it. You know what I mean? You get those gloves that are all the way up past your arm. I'm
going to make this the cleanest toilet you've ever seen.
Dude, but there is. I joke about it a lot. But there is a certain pride you take in it because you just have a bigger purpose. You feel like you're doing something that benefits. Now, did it have to be as clean as they wanted it? But not necessarily. But you do feel like you're doing something.
That does help on a ship at sea. That does help with disease and cleanliness.
Absolutely.
And you want to try and keep everybody healthy. It's a big deal.
Dude, it's a huge deal. It is. I just didn't know why I had to be the one that did it all.
The Navy's best scrubber.
That's right, absolutely. If they ever had an award,
Mr. Coward,
they come back years later. The Navy's best toilet cleaner,
silver brush.
That's exactly right. I'd take it too, and I would post it on social media. I'd be proud of it because, damn it, I lived it. I did it better than anybody else. I don't think Dr. Rich McCormick has probably scrubbed many toilets. But he was a helicopter pilot, and he went to UFC Freedom 250, and Los is hurt a little bit by this. So get ready for what could be a bumpy ride.
Nemesis confrontation now.
Next on Extra 1063.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our Extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the Extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer here. How's it going? You've invested years in your home, of course, maintaining it and improving it and protecting it. Raised a family there, built a lifetime of memories. Maybe your home has earned an upgrade. Well, I can recommend a place to go. Deal with them more than 20 years ago. Jeff Shea and Peach State Windows. For more than 50 years, Jeff has been helping Georgia homeowners improve the comfort, the beauty, and the value without losing the character of their homes. How about this deal right now? 8 double-hung vinyl replacement replacement windows installed for only $39.95, improving energy efficiency, comfort, and curb appeal, too. Listen to this. How about transform your entryway with a fiberglass French door installed for just $69.85. Both options include a lifetime warranty, 0% financing for 12 months. PeachStateWindows.com, 770-485-8011. Peach State Windows, because your home has earned an upgrade.
You have moments in your life that really make a difference.
Rick Jackson, a Christian story.
So as a child, my mother worked at night, so I ate by myself a lot, unless she was drunk. So I go in this foster home. They had 5 children. It was the loudest place I've ever been in my life. So anyway, we're at the dinner table, and then all of a sudden they quietened down, they held hands, and they prayed. As soon as I saw that, I said, that's what I want when I grow up.
Rick Jackson, a Christian story.
You see, going to church is one kind of Christianity, but when you sit in the home, it's a totally different environment. And that really made a huge impression on me.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Early voting is now open. The runoff election is Tuesday, June 16th. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-730-7788. 800-730-7788. Again, that's 800-730-7788.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, June 16th, and here are your headlines. A group of San Francisco Giants pitchers are drawing attention to writing Bible verse references on their hats during the team's Pride Night. Pitcher Landon Roop said the message represented his Christian faith in God's covenant. Major League Baseball has since warned the players that writing on hats violates league rules, though the league did not announce any further discipline. Atlanta hosted its first ever FIFA World Cup match yesterday as Spain took on Cabo Verde at a sold-out Atlanta stadium that ended in a 0-0 draw. Economists estimate that the tournament could generate more than $500 million in economic impact for the region, fueled by spending from out-of-state and international visitors. Officials say the event could also help attract future business investments to Metro Atlanta. And finally, the Atlanta Preservation Center is raising concerns over the plans to move the Olympic Cauldron from its longtime home in Summerhill to a Centennial Olympic Park. Preservation advocates argue the landmark is an important part of the neighborhood's identity dating back to the 1996 Olympic Games. Georgia State University says the move is intended to better celebrate Atlanta's Olympic legacy, while the tower structure and Olympic Rings Bridge will remain in Summerhill. Coming up next, a bit of a change of plans. Burt Jones will join Tug and Los right here on Extra 106.3 in the Morning Extra. Today we'll see the wet weather return with a high of 73 and a low of 67. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Thank you, Bryce. This is the Morning Extra. Los and Tug taking you until 10 o'clock. And it's a big day. It's primary election day, Tug. Let's get on out to the phones. We're joined by gubernatorial candidate Burt Jones right here on the Morning Extra. Burt, how you doing this morning?
Doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
Man, could not be better. I bet you have a really, really good feeling about today with the endorsements that you landed. Tell us about the Brian Kemp endorsement, because I think some people were surprised by that. I don't know why, but I think they may have been. What's the backstory on that?
Well, I mean, look, Governor Kemp and I have had a great working relationship. I've been the lieutenant governor for the last 4 years. I was in the state senate before that, and I've always been, lockstep with 98% of everything that governors wanted to do, and the governor has always been probably 98% with everything I've wanted to do. Tell you the truth, I leave out 2% because even our marriages, there's a little wiggle room where we don't always agree agree. But yeah, I mean, we've had a great run, and he'd like to see that his legacy kept intact, and obviously he knows my credentials. He knows how I feel, and he knows what my moral compass is, and everything else. And so it was just the right thing. I think he felt like it was the right thing to do, and he felt like I'll give us the best chance to win in November.
Burt Jones is our guest on the Morning Extra. We've been talking about the importance of voting the entirety of this morning. Obviously, early vote finished off on Friday. Now we're at Election Day. Has this basically turned into a turnout election for your camp? And what have you been doing over the last 48, 72 hours?
Well, I've crisscrossed the state, guys. I've been crisscrossing the state for the last couple of weeks. But yesterday, last 48 hours, we probably had as many as 6 stops in one day, something like that. And it's gotten to the point where I was moving so much that I had to ask everybody, all right, what county are we in right now? Because we were just moving around so much, and I wanted to make sure I didn't, say the wrong county when we were in it. But anyways, and the feedback's been good. The turnout's been really good. It is a get out the vote right now. Obviously, early voting was last week, and it was a light turnout. Historically, my voters are Election Day voters, and I usually perform pretty well on Election Day. So, it's just a matter of trying to remind people, there is a runoff going on, and it's a pretty important one too. I mean, you've got the gubernatorial race, the U.S. Senate race, Lieutenant Governor's race, Secretary of State. There's some pretty important positions that are being decided on today, and so I hope people will realize that and go out and vote if they hadn't already.
Just watching a video from Tommy's Barbershop, and it was you with Governor Kemp. What was it that Governor Kemp told the people there, and what would he say if he were on the phone with us now about the importance of the election, like you said, getting out and voting, but specifically voting for you?
Well, I mean, I'll just say basically what I said when we first started this interview. He said that, look, I'm for Burt Jones. I'm not saying I'm against anybody, but I'm for Burt Jones because I know him. I've worked with him, and we've gotten historic tax cuts done. We've gotten educational opportunities done. We've gotten economic opportunities, he talked about the accomplishments that he has had under his time as governor, and basically pointed out he couldn't have done it without my support as well as the legislative body's support. So obviously, it's a three-legged stool that runs the state government, and it starts with the governor's office, but then the Senate and the House, and obviously I'm the leader of the Senate, being lieutenant governor, and then of course the speaker over there in the House. So he basically just he obviously I was very grateful and honored to have him say so many nice things, but it wasn't anything that it wasn't mutually felt on my end too. Like I said, I don't shy away from the fact that the Governor Kemp and I have had a great relationship, and I consider him a friend, and for those who thought otherwise, I'm glad he came out and proved them wrong, because like I said, we have had nothing but a good working relationship.
Gubernatorial candidate Burt Jones joins us right here on the Morning Extra. The polls opened at 7 a.m. They go until 7 p.m. Everybody get out and vote. What are your plans for this evening? Do we got a headquarters? How's this all going to work for your camp?
Well, we're going back to the same place that we had a watch party for the primary, and obviously, and it's here in my hometown in Jackson, Georgia. We're expecting a really big crowd, and it's a great venue. We try to make it kid friendly. So we've got it's one of those barns where we throw open all the doors, and we have People can play, they can get out there and play ball, throw the football around, or play cornhole, or whatever it might be. That's what a lot of the kids were doing on election night, and we got music and food and TV monitors everywhere, just watching everything. You guys come on down if y'all get bored, want to drive to Jackson, Georgia.
Yes, sir. Well, appreciate it though. But you talk about music. You've got guys in your camp like Jason Aldean, who has a great reputation for being a strong conservative in a world that's not always conservative. In the music industry, he's on your side and has done performances for you. But then I read this morning too, Coach Mark Richt, who is beloved by everybody in the state of Georgia for the most part. Even people that are not Georgia fans love Mark Richt. And I even saw him tweeting about you this morning. That had to be just a feather in your cap just because of the personal relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's nice to have that, but quite frankly, because when I've been running against this guy, this maniac that spent $200 million trying to buy the election here, and he's done it on trying to do a character assassination on me. He's just been trashing me. He's been trashing my family, our business, and I have to lean on those personal relationships like a Mark Richt or a Jason Aldean, people who know me, who know my character, who've known me, for 25 years, and they will quickly say what they're saying about Bert isn't even remotely true. Obviously, because number one, we're hard. We've got a family business, and we work hard to get what we have, but we're also involved in our communities and try to look after our neighbors. And to have somebody to just basically paint you as some sort of Pablo Escobar, as I told y'all the other day, is absolutely it's insane what has gone on, and it's been a really sick campaign to have to run against, because they have the truth, the deception, the untruths, the misinformation. Look how they came out of the gate. They came out of the gate saying that they were the Trump guy. Well, I got the Trump endorsement, right? And then all of a sudden they pivoted, and all of a sudden they created a video saying they were the Kemp guy. And guess what? Kemp's endorsing me too. So, I've got the most powerful 1-2 punch of people, and those guys know me. Both those guys have worked with me. They trust me, and I think that's the reason why the people of Georgia are going to vote for me tonight. Not for the campaign that we've run, but for the people around us who are saying what they're saying is not true, and we're for Bert because he's always been a man that does exactly what he says he's going to do, and has a moral compass that matches better with Georgians.
Burt Jones is our guest. This has already been perhaps the most expensive election in the history of the state of Georgia, and because of the importance of the state of Georgia, it's probably going to continue to be so. Assuming that you are the selection tonight, how quickly are you expecting those attacks ads to come from Keisha Lance Bottoms, and how quickly you have to transition into, all right, now it's immediately the focus on that opponent?
Obviously we'll see what happens tonight. I do feel really well, and I think we're going to win tonight. But I don't know. I don't know how it can get much worse. To be honest with you, just like I said, this guy, the lies and deception that's been going on. I don't know. Obviously, I'm sure that the Democrats are going to attack me. Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, I don't think they can be any worse, and they definitely can't be any more untruth than what's been going on. You mean they're gonna pump it up from Pablo Escobar to Pol Pot? How are they going to do this one? I don't know how you get much more from you once you go from Pablo Escobar. I don't know if I can get much worse. I'm sure there's some folks out there in the historical relics that they could compare me to, maybe. But I tell you what, it'd be hard to be more over the top than this crowd that I'm running against currently. Of course, I think they're a bunch of Democrats anyway I'm running against currently. So I think he's a closet Democrat, to be honest with you. But at any rate, I'll be glad to be done with him tonight.
Burt Jones, our guest on the Morning Extra, asking for your vote today during this runoff. I can think of the way that people have treated President Trump, and there's been some pretty ugly names. So I think they can go deep. I think they can find something like you're saying. Would you say this is the toughest campaign that you've ever run? And does it, if you were to be the nominee, and we're asking people today, I know you're asking people for their vote, does it actually prepare you better for November?
Well, I mean, obviously, look, iron sharpens iron, as they say, and it definitely hardens you, I guess. But look, a campaign like this, I would expect it in a general election or whatever. I didn't expect a campaign like this in a primary, quite frankly, just because. Look, you're sitting here, you're talking about the same, the Republican Party platform, everybody was basically talking about the same things. It really just came down to, who do the people of Georgia trust the most to actually deliver on their promises. I've got a track record of doing that. But because look, these consultants are the ones who have come out like bandits in this whole thing. They're the ones who've made all the money off this race being so expensive, and they're really, most of these consultants are slimy operators. I'll just be honest with you, at any rate, it probably makes us a little tougher. But look, I think I look forward to the opportunity to take on Keisha Lance Bottoms, because she's got a track record of being mayor of Atlanta, and I don't think it's a very good one. In fact, the reason why she didn't run for re-election is because she couldn't win, quite frankly. So I look forward to that opportunity, but like I said, we're going to try to push everybody out to the polls today and get them to vote, and then we will look at the results tonight. And I think it'll be a good night for us here, guys.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck, and you've been great to us on this show, and I hope that you feel like we've treated you fairly too, and we hope you have a great evening.
You guys are the best. What are you talking about? That's why I keep coming on here. Y'all are the best. So I appreciate it so much, and thank you again for having me on. And we'll come back on. And I like coming in studio and chopping it up with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look forward to it.
Another thing tonight. Final thought. We got to get them Diamond Dogs, a win tonight too.
Yeah, I know. So I watched that. I watched a little bit of that game when I got home last night. It looked like Oklahoma's pitching was just did pretty well.
Yeah,
I guess it was a starter.
Yeah, they were good.
Who do they have tonight?
I don't know.
They match up with Texas. They have to play Texas again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I thought you meant the pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay,
Texas. So we got to beat them again.
Texas won. Okay, so Oklahoma was in the losers bracket?
Oh, no. Both teams won at the top, and then Alabama ended up in the losers bracket with Texas. Texas stomped Alabama yesterday, and so now it's pretty much win every day in order to try to get to that final by the end of the weekend.
Okay, all right, interesting. Well, good. Well, I hadn't got to watch them that much, but they look like a team that plays pretty loose and can score a lot of points if they get on a roll. So, hopefully they will do well.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Burt Jones, thank you so much, and continued success. Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yes,
Appreciate it. Take care.
Yes,
thank you.
Always great to have.
There he goes.
Burt Jones. But I just think it's been a really good day, because we had Senator Cruz on, and I want you to hear some of the things that he had to say last hour, and that way you have all the information. It is up to you now.
And you hear directly from Burt Jones as well.
Heard from Burt, and now we're going to play just a little portion of Ted Cruz on behalf of Rick Jackson coming up in the next segment.
And guess what we had to do?
Yeah,
we had to tell Dr. Rich. We're like, hey.
And they were so appreciative, and they're like, "No worries, I understand completely. Hey, can I come on tomorrow at 8 then?"
Okay, sounds good.
Text just popped in.
We just had to let him know, because that call kind of came out of nowhere, and we went, "Yeah, okay,
yeah, we'll shift. We'll make it on the fly.
Move. We'll make some stuff happen."
Absolutely. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 1063.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Front Office Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Exmark. When professionals need serious mowing power, they turn to Exmark mowers. Always from Howard Brothers, built for durability, comfort, and the signature Exmark cut. There's a reason why those mowers last all season long and for a multitude of seasons. So if you're growing your business or tackling that summer lawn, Exmark delivers the power and performance that pros even trust. Head over to Howard Brothers and see why these mowers stand above all the rest. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Exmark and with Howard Brothers.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, June 16th. The Atlanta Braves are back at Truist Park to open up a homestand that begins with a visit for the San Francisco Giants. A 3-game series begins this evening. It'll be Grant Holmes on the mound. He'll be opposed by Adrian Hauser. First pitch is set for 7:15 tonight. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. On the injury front, catcher Drake Baldwin returns to the lineup tonight. He's missed several weeks with an oblique strain. As for starting pitcher Spencer Strider, he's been shut down for a month in order to deal with elbow and shoulder soreness. From college football, the Brendan Sorsby issue has been settled. He plans to enter into the NFL supplemental draft. Sorsby was originally ruled ineligible by the NCAA for betting on his own games. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey there, this is Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses and events like Cobb County Pro Rodeo.
Hi, I am Seth Bice with Bice Rodeo Productions. We are partnering with Southern Rodeo Company for the second annual Cobb County Pro Rodeo. Join us for an exciting weekend of professional cowboys and cowgirls from across the country and the best bucking horses and bulls from across the nation. We are both proud to be family-owned businesses, sanctioned through the International Professional Rodeo Association, and thrilled to be voted the top 5 new rodeo in North America by the IPRA. We can't wait to see you at Jim Miller Park, July 10th and 11th.
Oh, you know I'll be there. Trust me, friends. You don't want to miss this exciting, family-friendly event. This will be a sellout, so go to rodeoticket.com and get your tickets now. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsetc.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Los and I just going through some of the races in that set and just talking about, the people that have been on the show, the discussions that we've had. You just heard from Burt Jones, who just called in, wanted to speak to you directly on Election Day, Los, and made time for us, and he's a good man.
Told you, he wants you to get out to vote, and this is a turnout election at this point. Once we're into this next version of the runoff primary, it's about who can get their people out to vote. Because right now, the betting markets do have Burt Jones as a significant favorite, but that is also based on your previous turnout. That is why it's really going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be razor thin either way. This is going to go, and hopefully by 8 o'clock, 8:30, we have a better idea.
No doubt about it. We want you to hear an excerpt from the interview that we did with Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, who spoke on behalf of Rick Jackson yesterday in Alpharetta. So you kind of get an idea. Like as you're planning to head out to vote, if you haven't already done it, you've heard from Burt. Now want you to hear from Senator Ted Cruz. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be with you.
Senator Ted Cruz is our guest on the Morning Extra. Sir, I don't hesitate to call you. I believe you're iconic within the conservative movement. And we've actually had the opportunity to spend a couple of hours over the last couple of months with Rick Jackson in studio. And what I would say is, along with you endorsing him, I've talked to a lot of his employees who have great things to say about him. Yeah. I think when you take that in total, I think if we're talking about, with the election today, it makes it a lot easier for people to pull that lever for Rick Jackson.
I think that's exactly right. At the event that Rick and I did yesterday, it was interesting. A bunch of folks came up. We did the photo line, took pictures of every person there. And I'd say there were probably a dozen people who came up who said to him, Rick, I've worked for you. And he's got thousands and thousands of employees, so he doesn't know all of his employees. But they came up and said, I've worked for you 20 years. I've worked for you 30 years. And they were they were proud to be there. That says a lot. You look at the man's heart. I mean, he is committed. He's been incredibly successful in business. And I made the point also yesterday, listen, politics, it's an ugly, nasty game. They attack you. They attack your family. People, you almost have to be nuts to do this. And for Rick to do this, he could be out and playing golf every day and, just relaxing and having fun. And he's not doing that because he cares. He's got a heart for Georgia. He's got a heart for the country. But he's also committed with all of his success in business. He's committed that he is giving away the money that he's made, and he's making a real difference. He supports a Christian orphanage in China that is the only orphanage that is allowed to share the gospel. I mean, he has supported Christian ministries all over the world. That's a really profound legacy. You can see who someone is, not just by their words, by their actions, and I think his actions demonstrate. As governor, he is committed that he would come in and freeze property taxes in the state of Georgia, and that he will cut the income tax in Georgia in half. And he said, listen, if he doesn't succeed in those two, he will not run for re-election. And I believe him. I don't. Look, all of us, when candidates run for office, there's a problem that they promise one thing on the campaign trail, they do something else in office. And so as a voter, you don't entirely know. But look, based on his history, his life history and journey, I believe him when he says he's going in to do that. And the beauty of someone running where they're not dependent on a bunch of lobbyists, dependent on a bunch of donors, is that he's got the independence. I have every confidence he will accomplish exactly that. And he's also committed. One thing he said yesterday, he wants to make Georgia the worst state in the country to be criminal. If you're a criminal, if you're a violent criminal, if you're a murderer, a rapist, a child molester, he didn't say this, but I'll say this, get the hell out of Georgia. And I got to say, I respect that. I didn't say this yesterday, but I've said it before. Texas and Georgia, we've got a lot in common. We pretty much agree on everything except football, and that's fair. And by the way, I did have several disagreements with folks yesterday about the Dogs versus the Longhorns. That's all right.
Sure. Ted,
I appreciate the sentiment, even if I was not persuaded on that particular.
Listen, we have this problem in my house. I'm a native Texan, went to Longhorn games growing up, and I married a Georgia grad, so I have the same problem as well.
anyone that cares enough about their team to be cheering them on, I understand them, even if I'm not necessarily persuaded about their particular team.
I want to bring up something. Senator Cruz is our guest this morning on the Morning Xtra, spoke yesterday in Alpharetta on behalf of Rick Jackson. Shortly after y'all were done in Alpharetta, there was a tweet posted by Donald Trump Jr., and it said, regardless of what happens in Georgia's race tomorrow, we should be celebrating the Patriots, building up America first. He talked about China threatening the amoxicillin supply and Rick saving that manufacturing facility. He talked about oil refining shortages and banks that wouldn't finance a new one. A woke bank wouldn't finance. Rick stepped in. He had lots of compliments about Rick Jackson. Why do you suppose that he posted that? Because it got a lot of attention yesterday.
Yeah, look, that's a big deal, and I'll confess, as we were getting ready to head out on stage, we knew that Don Jr. Was going to put something out, and we actually had discussed if the timing if it had been approved a half hour early. I was going to get the opportunity to actually announce it on stage, which would have been fun. I mean, we knew it was coming. And the campaign said, hey, are you willing to announce it? I said, sure, I'd be happy to. And it ended up being approved right after the event was done, so I didn't get to announce it, but we knew it was coming. Look, that's a big deal. And I'll say, Rick's opponent, Burt Jones, I don't know him. From everything I know, he's a good man. I've got nothing negative to say about him. Obviously, the president endorsed him, but he endorsed him before Rick was in the race, and that speaks a lot of volumes. And the president, look, I talk to the president every week, sometimes every day. I was with the president Sunday at his birthday at the White House for the UFC fight, which, by the way, guys, was surreal and unbelievable. But look, the president made the endorsement before Rick Jackson was in the race, and the president likes and respects Rick. And I think, I don't know this, but I think Don Jr. saying this was a way to express that. And that's also why I was down in Georgia. Look, the president and I agree on virtually every endorsement. It is unusual where he and I part ways. And I think some of the difference is that I had the opportunity to make the decision late in the race. And I typically get involved in a political campaign late. I try to do it just before Election Day at a time where I hope my support can make a difference and help the strongest candidate, the strongest conservative who can win, go over the finish line. And so my personal interpretation of Don Jr.'s statement is that was expressing, hey, look, this is a really good guy. What the tweet ends with that Don Jr. put out. He said, this has been a hard-fought race with a lot of mudslinging, but I know Rick Jackson to be a good man, and that counts for a lot. And listen, Don Jr. is a friend of mine as well. I appreciate his saying that because it obviously is his own view, but it communicates a lot more than that.
An excerpt from the interview and the discussion that we had from Senator Ted Cruz. He called in to stump for Rick Jackson. He was in Alpharetta yesterday, stumping for Rick Jackson. And if you were here just a little bit ago, Burt Jones called in asking for your vote. So now you've got the perspective of both candidates. And maybe you've gone to vote. But to prove it's so important to remind people to go vote, and you should remind the people around you. Bryce, our producer, just had a call, and the guy was like, hey, I got to go back and vote again. What is this? What are you talking about? We talk about it so much, it's second nature, Los, but it's not to everybody.
If you voted a month ago, this is a new election.
It is.
Basically what it comes down to. The state of Georgia, especially if this is new, you're a new resident, you've established residency, it's got to be 50 plus 1. And when no one gets it, we go to the next version of the primary. And it whittles it down to 2. And that's where we're at today. And so it's so important to get out there and vote. Hopefully we've given you enough data over the last month or so and enough interviews to make an informed decision. I know that the YouTube channel has blown up, and then all the views of the videos and local Georgia news outlets that have put that out there for us as well, just to try and give you a better view of who these candidates are.
Yeah, I tell you, call me crazy, but I kept feeling today that I was, and that maybe we were pushing it too much. Get out and vote, get out and go, get out and vote, get out and vote. And that one phone call reminded me, no, it's not. No. Not everybody knows, and that's why it's so important. And Ted Cruz yesterday in Alpharetta, he said, hey, vote 10 times as a goof, but he was trying to get to the bigger point of reach out to 9 of your friends, remind them they need to go vote in the runoff, and then essentially who have voted.
In a presidential election, we will typically get in the state of Georgia about 5 million total voters. This is going to be about 1.4 is what it looks like.
Total.
Maybe total.
Yeah, it's important.
It's important.
So valuable. I hope you've had a great day. I hope, like Los has said, you've got the data points to make an informed decision, one that you feel good about when you leave the polling place. If you've not voted, go do it. And I hope you'll join us tomorrow morning here on Xtra 106.3 when we can go through what has happened. We will have reaction tomorrow morning. Until then, you got the Glenn Beck program. You got Clay and Buck and the local afternoon show with the Kimmer Pete and Flounder.
Oh, my God!
This afternoon starting at 3 for Los and Bryce. I'm Tug.
Oh, my God!
Oh, my God! Y'all come back now, yeah?
Need more than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Extra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Extra app.